Hey, welcome back to Steve Reads a Comic. We're back. We were on hiatus, but we are back. It is October 11th, 2023. What is up, Steve?
Tug.
What is up, Rob?
Hey, what's going on?
Steve likes to make reference to things that nobody knows except
Yeah,
me.
no
I don't
clue.
care.
I'm the only one.
I don't care.
That was a
was it
MacGruber
referenced to?
reference. That was MacGruber. Tug, tug.
I was forced to watch that with you.
No. Yeah, Sean was down. What was it? 3 weeks ago?
I don't know. End of September ish.
Yeah, for the Memphis Comic Con, and he showed us a whole bunch of movies that I laughed my ass off at.
Yeah, the Steve Reads a Comic related. I went down to Memphis. I'm sure I talked about it beforehand, but I went down. Kevin Eastman was in town at the Memphis Comic Expo, an annual show they do there. Very cool show. My very first comic convention, my very first convention that I can think of as far as entertainment goes. I've never really been to one. I don't like going where there's a lot of people. It's bad enough I go to metal shows, conventions. At least at metal shows, you don't really have to talk to anybody. Unfortunately, you do get covered in their sweat and nobody bathes. So I feel like a Comic Con would be the same thing, except you have to talk to those sweaty, gross motherfuckers. But they weren't nearly as sweaty or as gross.
No, they
so
weren't.
that was nice.
I didn't catch any whiff of bad BO at all.
No, it was a really good time.
A lot of
got to meet Kevin
families.
Eastman.
A lot of families.
Yeah, like it's fun for the whole family, the kids and just people of all ages. Lots of old, middle-aged white dudes. Definitely, I am definitely the target market for that. But I got to meet Kevin Eastman, got a picture, got my Ninja Turtles
Back it
number
up,
one
back it up,
sign.
back it up. We got there early because we didn't know what to expect. Turns out Sean was the first motherfucker in line. It was awesome, dude. Like Kevin, like we were waiting in line. Sean's first, I'm second, just waiting on Kevin Eastman to show up.
The opposite happened for me and Aiden when we showed up later because I've been to this place and I was like, oh man, this got a huge parking lot. I was like, we'll have no problem parking. Holy crap, there were a lot of people there because we drove around for 15 minutes looking for a parking spot.
Yeah, Sean and I had the VIP passes, so we were there. What was it? 2 hours before everybody else got there.
I think 2.5, 1.5. It was 10:30. I guess it was about 2 hours.
2 hours earlier.
It was a while.
And then I got there an hour early because up here in Ohio, anyway, you have to show up to shit early or you're going to be waiting. You're going to be dead last. So I was like, oh, let's get there about an hour early. Make sure that, I figured we'd be 25 to 50th in line because there was 100 people in the VIP basically. So I'm assuming all those 100 people wanted to get access to Kevin Eastman, which was the whole point of the VIP. Was Kevin Eastman was there 2 hours early basically for the VIP, and so I was like, we'll get there an hour early, just so we're not dead last in line. First in line. That was weird. Did not expect that.
You got there before the vendors were even set up, dude.
Right? Yeah, like
they were
thought I worked there.
Yeah, they were setting up as we came in, and I'm like, this is weird.
But I think it's just a Southern thing. Like you don't have to show up early down in the South. 20 minutes would have been fine.
Yeah.
They're just slower down there. It's very strange.
I know my wife has never been early to anything.
Right. So.
Well, maybe it's people that have been there before and they got the VIP and they're like, well, I got the VIP.
Yeah.
I can come in whenever.
No, I don't think so. I think Sean's got it right.
I think it's just a different vibe.
That was the biggest culture shock when I moved down here was nobody's in a hurry to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like even to work. Just like...
Yeah, so I guess Sean was talking to the owner of Comics and Collectibles, or part owner, is that right? A couple days before?
One of the owners, I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I don't remember her name now either.
Stacy, was that it? I don't remember.
I do not remember.
Anyway,
very nice, though.
We walk in and she's there, so Sean's just talking it up with her like it's her best friend and everything. And then Sean leads the way to the Kevin Eastman table. Like the whole crowd follows him and everything. I was like, this is awesome.
Well, yeah, I had a stranger, like people behind us all of a sudden were like, oh, it's 8 o'clock. Now that I knew the thing started at 8:30. Like I said, we got there at 7:30. People started piling in eventually. And this chick behind me is like, well, they said 8 o'clock, so we need to go. I said, I've been directed where to stand and where to go this whole time. They'll tell us. Well, they said 8 o'clock. And I knew the crowd was just going to go without me. And then I'll be damned if I was going to go give up my first in line status.
Damn right, mother.
And so I was like, fine, I will lead you, idiots. You fucking illiterate morons, you southern fucking morons who can't read a goddamn sign and then comprehend times that are posted. So we get over there. I see the lady from Comics and Collectibles, and she's like looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing? And I said, I was directed by a stranger to come over here. So here I am. And she's like, oh, you're not supposed to be over here yet. I was like, I know. The fucktard behind me here. So that's, but she was like, fine, just line up here and wait. But that's what I hate about crowds is like, that's all it takes is one moron. Oh, we're supposed to do this. And everybody's like, yeah. And meanwhile, I'm like, I'm not holding this crowd back. So off I go.
I think
it wasn't about holding them back. You just didn't want to lose number one spot.
Well, that's what I mean, though. I wasn't about to be like, hey, we're not going yet.
Because them motherfuckers, they would have took it from you. I guarantee they'd be like, oh, well, everybody get, it's first come. It's like, dude, the whole point of the line was it starts with me. That's why I got here at the crack of ass.
Exactly. Right. But no respect for that, of course.
Dude, I would have took it from him if he didn't move. I'm coming for that number one spot.
Meanwhile, Steve's not doing anything to keep your number one. He's like, I'm going to get that number one.
I think I went off to use that $25 voucher for the merch. And then it started moving. I'm like, what the fuck? It's not 8:30 yet. Where are you guys going?
Oh, yeah, you were in line. You were like, what's happening? I was like, idiots, lack of comprehension. They can't read. They can't comprehend things. Like, we weren't going to miss anything. They weren't just going to leave us over there with Kevin Eastman sitting there like, why am I here? And then the organizers being like, I don't know. I thought they'd be over here. Like, they would have come and told us. They were well organized. They knew what was going on.
Yes, but because Sean is very knowledgeable, he had studied the map at entrance, and he knew exactly where to go. And he took us.
I'm with Sean. I'm prepared. I'm ready.
Right.
If there's something I want to do, I want to know how to do it. I want to know where to get there. I want to.
Right.
I got it all planned out, and then these motherfuckers just show up 45 minutes later, and they want to jump your shit.
Yeah.
Well, I hear people going, is this the right way? And I knew full well where I was going, but I was like, I don't know. I was just like throwing my arms up, like, please go scatter. Go figure it out yourself if you don't think this is right.
Yeah, so we get there and Kevin Eastman, shows up, and I mean, it was just so cool, man, seeing Sean first in line, talking with him and everything. And he got some extended time, I think, because when I went to go use my credit card, they had a problem processing the card. They were having problems with it. I guess they didn't know how to work it. So Sean was over there with Kevin Eastman for like way longer than, the allotted time, I guess. So that was cool.
I snuck a few more minutes in there.
What did you say? What did you say to him?
I don't remember at this point. I got to talk to him a few more times because we got back in line later before the end of the VIP. We were first VIPs and like almost last VIPs at one point. Steve got caught up. This is what I loved about the whole energy and excitement of the thing. The day before, Steve is literally like, I'm not going to bring anything to get signed. He's like, I have a Funko Pop. I was like, well, bring it then. And then I see he has a reissue of one of the original Michelangelo Ninja Turtles. And I was like, dude, bring that. He's like, okay. So he just brings the Ninja Turtle.
This right here, if you're on YouTube.
There we go. Yeah. If you're on YouTube, you can get a shot of the signature. He signed it in orange, did a little Ninja Turtle head remark on the packaging. It looks great.
Where's your certificate? Is there one that goes with it?
Here's my lanyard too. I got signed. Let Sean finish the story. I think he was going.
So we get there, and I think Steve just gets swept up. He's like, he ends up getting his lanyard. So he got his lanyard signed, which again, that's an additional cost, and remarked. Then he goes and buys a full run of the last Ronin, which he had been wanting to do anyway. Takes that, gets the first issue signed, takes it over to get shipped off to CGC. Paid a little. What's that?
I was so excited, dude. That whole
He
day,
just
man.
got swept up, and he was just like he was ready to buy everything. It was hilarious. I
Steve's like,
loved
flip,
it.
flip, 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 money, money, money,
Yeah.
money, 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 money,
There was
money. Here
a
you go,
photo
here you
op
go.
with some people who cosplay as Ninja Turtles with some really high quality Ninja Turtle suits. I think that was like $5 donation or whatever. But I've never seen a bigger smile on this man's face than this picture taken
that
with
was
Michelangelo.
yeah, that was he was like Michelangelo's my favorite.
Yeah. And like
dude.
I said, I've never. Well, I think you posted it. I don't know if you posted it on. I think you did on the Steve Reads the Comic Facebook page.
Yeah, I think it's in there somewhere.
You get any
But
replies?
Dude, I was nervous at first, and then I talked to Kevin Eastman. He was so cool, dude, and he like put all my fears at ease, man. He was just so easy to talk to. I remember I asked him about like, was I the only kid that jumped in sewers, And he's like, no. Like parents kept telling me, like, can you tell the kids that there's no turtles in the sewers? So I was like, okay, I'm not the only one. But yeah, he was really cool. And like Sean said, we had the VIP ticket, so we were there 2 hours ahead of everybody. So we were first in line, and then right before the other group started to come in, the general admission group, Sean was like last in line, and I was like, that's when I bought those that set of The Last Ronin. And I was like, dude, I might as well just get this. I always wanted it, and he's right here. So I bought that the set, the run of that, and he signed the first issue for me, which was awesome. And he put I had him put Ninja Kick the Damn Rabbit on it from the movie that Michelangelo says in the movie. So that's off to CGC. Can't wait for that to get back.
Yeah, it's going to be a few months, but we both got stuff sent off to CGC to get that yellow label. But yeah, it was a fun experience overall. We just went the one day. Lots of cool vendors and artists there.
Yeah, well, like the one vendor that overheard us talking about our satanic panic era, and then he joined in.
Oh, one of the artists, yeah, yeah. That was pretty cool. He just like, hey, I don't mean to jump in your conversation, but I identify with everything you guys are talking about.
Right. He's like, can I share in this therapy? And we're like, yeah, man,
right.
Come on in.
Yeah. It was very fun. It was
You guys got in line for Garth Ennis too.
Sean.
Oh yeah, I got to talk to Garth Ennis.
Did.
That was the other thing I wanted to do. I didn't bring anything for him to sign. I have tons of his stuff, and he had stuff for sale. I did give him money though, just for his time, because I just wanted to talk to him. I wanted to ask Garth Ennis, because if you've read any of his stuff, especially his most extreme stuff like Crossed, and even in Preacher and stuff, and Punisher, I mean, a lot of it's very extreme. I just wanted to ask him, did you have a fucked up childhood? And he's like, no, not at all. He's like, I had a great family. I was just like, what? And then he does a great job with military writing. So I was like, were you in the military? He's like, nope. I'm like, God damn, this guy's just a genius. He said his writing comes from just his perspective on the world, basically. He said he has a very cynical perspective, and that's where he pulls from when he writes all this twisted, fucked up shit. And I'm sure a lot of it's pulled from, just headlines and stuff like that too, based on how terrible the world actually is.
Mm-hmm. And then later on, we had a Q&A panel with Kevin Eastman, and it was hosted by Ming Chen, the guy from Comic Book Man.
I did enjoy that.
We got to talk with Ming. That. Yeah, we got to talk with Ming Chen for a while before Kevin Eastman got there, which was really cool. And again, we were front row, so.
Well,
I got there. I wanted to get in there early.
We were the only people there when we walked in.
Yeah,
it was so weird.
With that. I thought it would be more people, though. I honestly did. That was not full. I thought the whole room was going to be full.
Right.
I don't know what happened to that. I don't know if people didn't know. It was kind of in a weird spot, but
yeah. But I feel like if you were interested, you would be like me and figure out where it was.
I figured there'd at least be 100 people that paid for the VIP tickets. You know what I mean? To hear what he had to say. That's what I thought.
Yeah. I'm guessing a lot of those people were just flippers, though, too. They just they got a bunch of shit signed so they could put it up on eBay.
Yeah, evidently. He talked for like 45 minutes, which was really cool. And Sean got to ask him a question at the end, which was awesome. And he got I'll post a video online after this, but of the panel. But Sean slipped in a Ray Filet right in front of Kevin Eastman. It was awesome.
Kevin Eastman said it, so It
Yeah,
seemed
yeah.
appropriate.
You repeated it. It was great. But he just said Ray Filet. You were like Ray Filet.
Well, they actually asked him that the last movie they actually included him in it, which was nice. Whereas the
Yeah.
Michael Bay ones, he's just shat all over them. It was
Yeah, that
great.
was
Yeah.
that was awesome. He's like,
They
That
did
was nice
not.
to hear him shit all over those movies because they're really bad.
Yeah,
yeah, but
And
yeah, it all
yeah,
makes sense, don't it?
dude, that was so much fun, man. I had so much fun, and I didn't know what to expect because I hadn't been to one either. So Sean and I, it was our first one, and they had they had a cosplayer there that was it was a couple. One was Starfire, I think,
oh yeah, yeah,
and
Yeah,
then
she
one
looked
was
good. That was a good outfit.
Killmonger. God, did this dude
yeah.
looked exactly like Killmonger
He
from the
did.
movie? It was nuts, man.
Yeah, I had to pay them both a compliment when we were because I saw him a few times, but I saw him when we were leaving the room after the panel, and I was like, "You guys look fantastic, by the way."
Right, the complete
Because they both.
opposite of that depressed Mario that I got a picture with.
Oh my god! You were like, "You really want a picture with this guy?"
I was like, it's Mario. I'll show it to
Steve
the.
grabbed like the one transient person who happened to show up to get a picture with. It's the saddest Mario I've ever seen in my life. I was like, okay,
Depressed
get
Mario.
ready.
What'd you say? Melancholy Mario. That's what it was.
Melancholy Mario, yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'd like to go back next year if they do it there again.
Yeah, if they get some other, and they had other people there too. Rick Leonardi, co-creator of Spider-Man 2099, was there. Brian Polito, creator of Lady Death and Evil Ernie. I talked to him for a minute. Um, yeah, they had lots of artists and writers there. They had the voice of April O'Neil from the original Ninja Turtle cartoon. They had the voice of Spectacular Spider-Man. Josh Keaton, I think is his name. Not sure. But yeah, they had a lot of other people there. A lot of people selling stuff.
Oh my gosh, so much stuff I wanted to buy.
Yeah, but it was a well run show in my opinion. They had some some good food vendors there, local food vendors and stuff, and it was but it was a great first impression for a con. That's for sure. It definitely makes me want to go to some of the other ones. I like that it was very comic book focused. It was for the you had some voice actors and stuff, but it was mostly artists and writers. A lot of the cons when they have them up here in Cleveland, it's a lot of actors, and I just don't have anything to say to most actors, so I just not interested. And it's nothing against actors; I love actors, but I don't know. They're just to me they're not as impactful as the people who create the shit. For the most part, they've had like Bruce Campbell and stuff up here, but then it's too big of an actor, and I'm like, I don't want to wait in that line. And their prices reflect how big they are too. So that's the other part of it.
I like when you went up to Ming Chen and said you were like, "Hey, why did Kevin Smith fuck up He-Man?"
That's not exactly how I worded it, but I was
That was
curious
pretty
about.
much the gist of what you said.
But yeah, I did when I saw Ming Chen out on the floor. I asked him what he thought of the recent Masters of the Universe thing, but it turns out he's not a Masters of the Universe fan, so it didn't really matter. He said he grew up more of a GI Joe guy. But yeah, I need to I just got to talk to Kevin Smith. I don't want to. I just want to talk. Just want to talk. That's all. I just have questions.
Just a little talk as I
Just to talk.
as I tie you up.
I'm gonna wear my Casey Jones mask for some reason. But yeah, I just have questions about why. The first one just being why. What the hell were you thinking when you took this job for this property you've said multiple times you don't like, and then you churn this out? Why
Money,
did you
money,
do that to us?
money.
And then you got hurt when people didn't like it. Like, how did you not see that coming? You're a smart guy.
Money, money, money.
Yeah, that was great.
Money.
So great times. Great times.
Yeah, and then Steve came up here like a week later. We hung out and ate at all the places in Northeast Ohio worth eating?
Dude, I've never been more ashamed in my life, man. It was just, it was a barrage of gluttony. Dude, it was so bad. So bad.
Are you really shamed though?
I thought I was a diabetic halfway through the week because
he was very concerned about diabetes.
I was like, I think I'm peeing all the time, dude. I think I'm pre-diabetic right now. All I'm doing is ingesting sugar at a rapid rate. But I wouldn't stop. I just kept doing it. I was like, we just have 4 pieces of pizza. Sean's like, you want to go to Dairy Queen? I'm like, hell yeah, I want to go to Dairy Queen.
It was definitely the running joke of anytime we finished eating, the deal, when do we eat?
When do we eat? When do we eat? So so I fly up there on as soon as I get out of work on Friday. I catch a flight with the family, and we're going through security.
Memphis Airport, right?
Memphis Airport. Yeah, we're going through security. I got my shoes off, my belt off, everything's off. My bag
pants fell down.
My pants. My bag goes through. Kristen's bag goes through. Brooklyn's bag goes through. Dominic's is stuck, and the dude's like looking at the X-ray tech is like over there, like, and then a few seconds later, he's still contemplating, and then he gets his boss to come over. He gives him the wave. And then they're looking at it for like 2 minutes, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on over here? Next thing you know, his boss calls the police, the security with guns and everything. And they're all sitting around Dom's bag. And I'm looking at Chris and I'm like, what the fuck? And then the guy asked me, he's like, did you bring weapons? And I'm like, no. And that's when Kristen looks at me. She's like, did you check his bag? I was like, no, I didn't check his bag. Did you check his bag? She's like, no, I just told him to grab some toys before we left.
Oh,
I'm like, fuck. I was like, what is in here? So like after this guy is like staring me down and keeps repeating, do you have any weapons? I'm like, no, I do not have any weapons that I know of.
Always reassuring. That I know of.
That I know of. That's my son's bag. I don't know what's in there. So then they start to open it up. They unzip it, and they got like their gloves on and they're going real meticulous and precise through the bag and everything. And then finally the guy pulls out with his thumb and index finger, pulls out the barrel of a toy gun, one of those old cap guns.
Jesus Christ, dude.
They're metal.
You guys got to be the worst parents in the world.
That's what I said when I looked at Chris. And I was like, and there's a guy next to me. His bag's behind Dominic's, and he's got his shoes off and everything. And I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's in this bag. You're not going to miss your flight, are you? He's like, no, I give plenty of time. You're okay. I was like, okay, sorry. I couldn't apologize enough. But yeah, but the guy holds it up. The tip of the barrel of the gun, holds it up above his head for everyone to see around the airport, And I'm like, fuck, old metal cap gun. Their Uncle Steve got it for him, Kristen's brother. And it's got like, it's the old metal, and it probably had caps in it, I don't know what Dominic packed. But yeah, so
I think that's the problem right there. You let your son pack his own bag,
dude. I wasn't there. Kristen said, "Pack your stuff, throw some toys." I thought she checked it. She's like, "Did you check his bag?" I was like, "No, I didn't check his bag. I thought you checked it."
Oh my god!
So
dude.
yeah, so they throw away the gun and everything, and we're allowed to pass. And
eating was the most shameful thing you thought you did.
But that wasn't. I mean, I wasn't ashamed of that. I was embarrassed. I wasn't ashamed.
Oh my god, dude!
Dude, I might have had a heart attack and died if that happened to me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know. When you first told me that story, you and Kristen both told that story. I'm like, how are you guys so calm about this? That's like one of my worst nightmares come to life. Is going through TSA, dude, and getting stopped for something like that.
Because I know I don't have any weapons.
Molly made me take some Corky's barbecue, so I bought one of those. She bought me, one of those just barbecue, dude. But it, it was like this big. It was like a regular thing of barbecue, dude. I thought. I didn't know you couldn't have that much through there. I was like, it's fucking Corky's. It's a Memphis thing. Dude, I got stopped for that. They fucking confiscated it.
dude. Kristen
You
was
had a fucking gun, a metal gun at that.
right,
Jesus
right.
Christ!
I was thinking. I was like, man, that X-ray machine works. Like they spotted that.
Wow, man!
And he had a ton of toys, dude. His bag weighed like freaking 30 pounds, man.
I
He had
cannot
all
believe
these.
you let your son pack your bag. Oh,
I did it. I didn't know he did. I thought
Jesus
Kristen packed it
Christ.
the night before.
That is the.
He had everything in there, dude. Everything. Like he had all his toys basically in that bag. So that was crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah, I said when they told me that story, I just pictured Steve being like, "Dom, you're going down for this one. I'm not taking the heat for this.
I'm sorry.
If they're arresting anybody, it's going to be you. You brought this on yourself."
I'm like, Dom, I'm not going back to jail, bro. Sorry. Yeah, so
Wow.
that was what was that? That was Friday. And
So
then,
they confiscated that. You didn't get it back. That was
oh
it.
no,
right?
they're not gonna let
They
me
threw it
take
out.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they threw it out.
Wow.
He's
So
like,
what they say afterwards?
he's
They're
like, he's like, next time check that. I was like, yeah, okay, next time I'm not bringing that at all, thanks. But
Right.
apparently you can put
I didn't
anything
even know
in your check bags.
I didn't know they still made those metal cap guns. I had no idea,
Dude,
that was still a thing.
when Steve got that for him, I was like, I don't know where the fuck he found that.
Right?
he just
He
buys
probably
it.
found it at a gun show because he's a big gun guy.
Oh, okay. So we went to Toys Time Forgot like we always do when Steve comes up here, and they were selling those guns for. I saw one, it was like $100. It looked like the old, single action Colt pistol. The Western
That's what it
handgun,
was.
basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, God damn, because I don't remember last time I saw a realistic gun on the shelf. Everything looks like Nerf guns or Super Soakers, and they're plastic, they're bright orange.
Yeah,
or whatever.
This one had the orange tip. But
It had an orange plug in the end. That was
Right.
it.
Yeah.
But it was metal. I mean, I
Yeah.
And it was heavy. it's
Yeah,
like
I remember those from when I was little, but like I said, I haven't seen one in ages.
if I would have known it was $100, I would be like, guys, go without me. I'm going to take this gun back the other way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing those were older ones, like maybe originals or something, and they had like dates on them.
No,
or
because he
something,
had a
but-
fresh pack of the inserts, the little
the caps.
It took the round inserts. Remember the round ones, the plastic ones?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Yep. The one I had when I was little though had the paper ones, like on a
where
roll.
It ran it through. Yeah.
Yeah.
The little red paper things with the little dot.
And I used to sometimes just take them out and smash them with a rock to make the gunshot sound.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's the one I took through security.
When you tell me that story, dude, I almost took
a
shit in my just hearing the story. I was like getting anxiety. I was like, this is the last thing,
dude.
But he's Steve, so he came out of it. I feel like I would have been taken aside. Then we got to strip search you.
Yeah,
we got to strip search your family.
Yeah, what else you guys packing?
Other people that aren't even at the airport need to come in and get strip searched. It was just, it would have been a whole thing. Steve, they're just like, all right, carry on. Like, what?
They had a Muslim guy next to me. They were beating him, but I was okay.
No, he got through with his bombs just fine because he used you as a distraction. So,
yeah, that was Friday. Then Sunday, I took everybody, the mom, dad, and the rest of my family to the Browns game to let the kids witness their first embarrassing loss. So that was fun. And for some reason, I wanted to go to this giant cuckoo clock. It's like the world's largest cuckoo clock. I remember going to it on a field trip, and I met a lady there when we got to the cuckoo clock, and she's like, I'm only here because I saw this when I was a kid too. And I was like, okay. So then the cuckoo clock goes off, and it goes off, I think, a minute, and all these things come out of the clock. They start dancing, playing music and everything. And then they go back into the clock, and she looked at me and she's like, was that not as good as you remember? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I don't know why I made this trip. But the kids seemed to like it. Yeah. So we did that. And then I think, what we else? Oh, we went to the Cleveland
Cheese
Zoo.
Barn. You went to Cheese Barn too.
Yeah. Cheese chalet where they make the cheese. I remember we took a field trip for that when we were kids too. Have like
Moon
every cheese. Yeah. Every cheese you could imagine. It was awesome. But yeah, just went to the Cleveland Zoo, and then me and Sean just hung out and ate and We watched 4 movies in one day in a row. It was awesome. Dude, it was freaking awesome. Like back to back to back. We're just eating in between.
You didn't watch them on Dad's TV app. You watched
Absolutely.
them through the no. You watched it through the other app, right? You didn't watch it through the TV app.
Oh no, we use the Fire Stick.
Right. Sean and I watched a couple movies because we didn't know he had the Fire Stick.
Right.
Like
you watched that. I left
we had
partway
to turn
through,
the volume up to like 106 to hear, just barely hear the dialogue on the app.
Right. I don't know what happened with that.
Oh yes, and also somewhere in between there, Dom got on the treadmill and got it going too fast, and he flew off and got stuck in between the wall and the treadmill, and it started to burn his flesh apart.
Yeah, he had
that happened too.
He had a wound on his forearm that went from his wrist to his elbow of just
farther than that, up to his shoulder.
Okay, apparently even farther than that. Yeah, he was just getting melted by this thing.
He had the worst rug burn ever.
Oh, dude, it was bad. Like all the. I was
going to say the other thing, but
it's a road rash. But like, and he had it is on his knuckles. It was on his feet. Like he got it everywhere.
Like the tops of your feet, right where they bend. Oh, dude, he was in so much pain. And I heard that scream. I was upstairs. Kristen was downstairs with him. And I heard the scream. You know the scream. You know it's not bullshit. It's that kind of scream. And I was like, oh shit, what is going on? So I ran downstairs and saw that, and I was like, dude, the poor little guy was in so much pain, man.
Let's be honest. We all know you didn't run down the stairs.
Well, first of all, I got up and like my back, and then I like hobbled down and almost fell down the stairs.
That sounds more like what happened.
Yeah. But Kristen was down there, so it was fine.
Yeah,
she was able. He was literally he was stuck right between the treadmill and a bookshelf or something.
Yeah, and it's still going, so it's just sitting there burning his flesh as he's stuck. He can't get out, you know. So yeah, that was a typical trip to Ohio.
You guys are like top A parrots. Jesus Christ!
Hey man, shit happens.
Hey, pack your own bag through the airport.
Well, I'm definitely checking their bags.
Up on that treadmill.
What else? No, he did the treadmill on his own. The treadmill was his own thing. That was just Dom being like, I'm gonna go do something I should not be doing.
I totally I got out of all the things he packed, he picked that thing, man. Like, come on. Everything else was fine.
Oh, I'd have been a nervous wreck. I would have been visibly shaking in terror, not knowing like what is going on. Am I going to jail?
While he was in Ohio, we didn't do anything on Tuesday. We were kind of just letting him rest and heal. So I went out and got him a Leonardo sword and ninja star and mask and everything, and to cheer him up. And I made sure to check that on the way back. I was like, that's
checked baggage.
Checked baggage.
Dude, yeah. I think my favorite thing, one of my favorite things that we did was like we got lunch one day. Oh, we went to Quaker Steak. Went down to Canton, got Quaker Steak, went to Toys Time, forgot, got Hamburger Station on the way back, didn't tell nobody at first because your mom was making spaghetti. So we had a little pre-meal meal.
Yeah, Mom did not mention you stopped at Hamburger Station. She left that out.
And then got back to the house. A couple hours later, had spaghetti. It was a good day. It was like we had 3 meals within like a 5-hour span. Basically, is what happened. 3 full meals almost in a 5-hour span.
And I bought this Moon Knight #1 here. At Toys Time, forgot. The guys totally ripped me off. I found out I could have got it for $50 cheaper on eBay, but this is his first run, the first issue in his own run, not his first appearance, but that first appearance was there too, but it was like $2,000 or something. Yeah. I wanted to just grab it and run out the fucking door.
They had a Mosquito figure in an encasement. They do figure grading too, but the bigger cases, obviously. I think it was graded like an 8.0. They wanted $2,500 for that Mosquito. So no, but I really do want a Mosquito figure.
What is a Mosquito?
The He-Man.
It's from the He-Man line.
I know what it looks like.
It's like from a really late. Like I mean, I would have been out of He-Man by that age anyway, but
I saw
seeing
it.
some of the figures that came later, I'm like, I totally would buy that now.
Oh, we did go to that Linda theater, that old theater that somehow gets new releases, and it was great, just like I remember, man. Like the atmosphere was exactly as I remember as a kid, and that was cool to take my own kids there, and then mom and dad were there. It was nice, and that's why we've been gone for so long.
Yeah, across the street was the first ever video store. Remember?
Dude,
Oh,
the freaking video, it's so depressing seeing all those video stores that we used to go to,
Oh,
they're
it
just,
closed.
yeah,
Yeah,
or there's something
there's no
else.
more.
But the one video store that should have went under years ago is still open. That Britain Road Video. Like they
No,
sell.
it's
No,
closed.
no, it's open. Dad
it's
told
open.
me.
Oh,
Dad
it
said
opened back up.
there was a guy sitting
No,
out
it
front.
never
It
closed.
never closed. There's a guy sitting out front smoking a cigarette. I was like, Dad, is that still open? He's like, yeah, but they don't sell anything but like X-rated movies and stuff.
Oh, okay. So the rest of it closed. Just it's a porn store.
Yeah, it was like
So now
like
they got dildos instead of
it used to be a fruit market / video store, and then
Right.
in the
Well, it
back,
was
that
initially
one?
just. It used to just be a
Oh,
fruit market.
on
It used
Britain
to just be a
Road.
fruit market.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Britain
I
Road
thought you
Video.
meant Video Time next to the Marcos.
no,
No, Britain
Dude,
Road
that
Video.
thing is still there. I mean, it's still
Yes.
legit. Oh
yeah,
my god!
the building looks like it needs to be condemned, but it's
I
still
thought
open.
it was.
It looked like that 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now the Britain Road Video
I,
sign is like faded. You can't even see it anymore.
I didn't know it was open. It was just a piece of wood. That's all the sign was. It was like somebody spray painted video store on it.
Yeah, yeah. But that motherfucker's still
Oh
open.
my
I was like,
God.
holy shit.
Jeez. Yeah, Britain Road's just like strippers, and that's all it is now.
Welcome to
Yeah.
Akron. Crackrin.
Uh,
Yeah, but man, I'll seeing all those video stores we used to go to that are closed. Like, oh man, that's so depressing.
I remember when the one across from the Linda opened up on the corner there on the opposite end of Bumpus.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone.
Oh yeah, that Goodyear. I think it was just called Goodyear Video or
Yep.
something.
Yeah, that was the first one to pop up.
And I remember that because again, that was the one where your dad would rent me all kinds of R-rated stuff. Forever grateful.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's cool to watch 4 movies in a row, but like not having dad with you while you're hunting down a video in a store is like, I'd rather do that,
But yeah, your dad watched a lot of the movies with us. I think he watched all of them with us.
No,
Yeah.
He did not like the raunchier comedies, but
dude, when Sean was down here, he played Walk Hard for me. There was a scene I laughed so fucking hard I thought I was gonna die, dude. I'm not even kidding. Like, I was getting dizzy. I was laughing so hard.
Probably from all the food you ate prior.
This was down here. It wasn't. We didn't. I ate more up there than I did down here. But oh my god, dude! I thought I was gonna have a fucking heart attack. I was laughing so hard. It was great.
That was great. Watching you almost die was very gratifying for me.
How many?
I picked a funny one.
Is that like the 6th time you see me almost die?
Probably.
It's like, this motherfucker's always around me when I almost croak.
I'm going to become a suspect at some point.
He will be the death of you.
Yeah, all right. You want to get to some of the newer shows here? We did finish Ahsoka as we were in. Oh
my god! Yeah, let's talk about Ahsoka. So the series is over. We're going to talk about the whole thing. What I can remember of it, my memory is garbage, but I do remember. I'm pretty sure that on this podcast I have talked about how the show seemed to be going nowhere. Nothing was happening from week to week, and then I would look online to see what the general consensus was among the fans as far as how they felt about the episode, and they were just head over heels in love with these episodes, and I couldn't, and I still can't for the life of me figure out what the hell they were watching that was so amazing. And it turns out it was just, they like cameos. They like seeing Anakin. They don't care his actual impact on the story. They just like seeing that actor playing that role, and that's apparently enough to make them happy. So basically, this entire show was literally a giant nothing burger. Nothing happened on this show. They spent, was it 6 episodes, 8 episodes? I don't even know. It was too many episodes.
I think it was 8.
8 episodes. Ultimately, 2, again, spoiler warning, have Thrawn and Ezra get back to the galaxy, and now Sabine and Ahsoka are stuck in the other one.
To
That's
switch
it.
places. That was it.
That's
That was all
that's
they
it.
did.
That was the whole point of the show. It was so uneventful. It just made me so angry. And there's stuff I liked about. I really like the guy they cast as Ezra. I
Yeah.
really liked Hera, not just because of her awesome booty, but like I liked her. I liked the way she was portrayed by Mary Elizabeth Winstead. It actually it felt
Felt
like
like
Hera
Hera.
Syndulla,
Mhm.
whereas for whatever reason they had Rosario Dawson playing Ahsoka, and she played Ahsoka with more energy in the Mandalorian and stuff than she did on this
Yeah,
show. And again, I
Ahsoka.
don't blame her.
She
I don't
was
blame
the
her. It had to be the direction. They were like, cross your arms,
Well,
talking a monotone.
well, once she died or whatever happened and came back of the last 2 episodes or whatever, she seemed more like Ahsoka, you know?
Now, she did for about 5 minutes, and then she went right back to crossing her arms and talking in a monotone. Like, she
It
put on
might
the
have
white
been
thing initially.
But she was smiling a little bit.
yeah for 2 seconds is what it was.
Right.
Dude.
It was literally like
Ahsoka was the least interesting character on that show,
Yeah.
in my opinion. You know, like besides that kid, the Jason kid, fuck that kid. But I mean, it was just a lackluster finale.
Nothing happened. Like
Rosario
like
Dawson needs saber training, or get a stunt double, because that
Yeah.
shit was slow as
Oh,
fuck.
I texted Sean that. I was like, just put in a stump double.
Oh my god,
That's
it was
exactly
so
what I said.
slowly choreographed. I'm like, you go here, I go here, you go here.
Right.
And then they're all running up the stairs with their lightsabers out, and I'm like, this is stupid.
It was all very. It was just very disappointing overall, and the fact that people love this is upsetting because we're
I
going to get
cannot
more
believe it.
Nothing Burger shows because of it now. It's like, oh, as long as we have
Ah.
cameos, people are happy.
I can bring this up now that you say that. So I just read an article today about Daredevil, the new one that's coming out supposedly.
Yeah.
And they said they have axed everyone, and they're bringing in. It's going to be they're hiring actual like TV people to do it instead of movie people, so that it's more episodic and it's more they're going to try and have it like a TV show, instead of fucking whatever they're doing. Marvel's been doing with this other shit.
Is that
So,
good
decompressed
or bad?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's bad for the
different.
original. Yeah, the original creative team just got axed.
Yeah.
The writers,
Did you read this?
directors,
Yeah.
whoever. Yeah.
Yeah.
They gave them their walking papers. I didn't know that what their intentions were. I
Their
just knew that they were going in a
to
different
make
direction.
it more like TV instead of fucking whatever the hell Disney's been trying
And
to do.
what they've been doing is what I've been saying, which is decompressed.
Yeah.
Well, it's decompressed storytelling, whether it's movie or TV show. It's so decompressed though that nothing is happening from episode to episode. And it's like I've been saying this about Ahsoka. I said the actual events of Ahsoka, the things that had any impact, you could fit all that into about 3 episodes, about 90 minutes of storytelling of when it comes to things
You
that
could have
actually
made a
matter
movie
that happened.
Yeah.
Right. And even then, though, it would have been an incredibly disappointing ending.
Well, because like I said, it was going to end on a cliffhanger because they're setting up the fucking movie.
And this is, and I think I was talking to Steve about this, or maybe it was Logan, I don't remember, but this is the problem with storytelling in both Marvel and the Star Wars universes. So this is a Disney problem for the most part. Is so they have to be beholden to past lore. They have to be beholden to past canon events. So you have all that burden on you. But then your TV show, you're not a movie, so it seems like the pressure is then let's put out a TV show with a recognizable character or whatever, but we don't really want much to happen because we want to save that for the movie kind of thing. So there's these aren't passion projects. It's literally just content at this point. It's like it's a Star Wars show. It's got Ahsoka's name slapped on it. She's in the show, but none of it is of consequence. And there's barely anything happening, but they want to have content, but it felt like they went to Dave Filoni and said, we'd love to do a show with Ahsoka. Do you have an idea? And he was just like, sure. Yeah. Okay. I can. Yup. I sure do. and then went home and wrote it. And then they were like, oh, no, you can't have her fighting Thrawn at the end. We're going to save him for a movie or whatever. Oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, they can't do anything in these shows, apparently. And so it's almost pointless. It just becomes a budget. And then they introduce new characters, and they don't even kill them off or anything. And they don't even have an arc. Like, what's Balin Skull and Sati? What the hell were they even in this show for? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they when it ended, they were just in the other galaxy. Wait, what? What was the point of that? Pointless. Utter pointlessness.
Yeah.
Frustration.
Nothing happened. And then then
Filoni had to, like, he had people like, well, nobody's seen Rebels, so you have to make it so that people that haven't seen Rebels understand. But then also throwing people that have seen Rebels. It's like, dude, he was stuck in a hard place. I don't know. But hey, look at the Marvel movies that are the series on Netflix. It worked because they didn't have to tie in anything. You know what I mean? They just they took the character and they ran with it.
I would still argue there was some decompression there too. They clearly had contracts for a certain number of episodes.
Yeah.
Which can also make for long drawn out storytelling too. That's another downfall if you don't have so you do get filler episodes and whatnot.
Yeah, that was
TV
true.
is just frustrating in general. And like it's one of the reasons I'm not a big TV guy. It's just that they have it's rare that you get a Sopranos or a Breaking Bad or something, or even a Mandalorian where it actually, it seems like they had a good idea from start to finish, as opposed to being like, oh, well, I don't know, I'm out of ideas. We just got to get them from here to there. Let's just do an episode where Anakin shows up, and people love that shit.
The guy that did the Boys, I forget whatever, he did Supernatural. And Supernatural had 23 episodes. They did a great job of like telling an arc story for the season, but they also had episodes that might not have anything to do with the arc that were entertaining by themselves. You know what I mean? And that's my best example of how it can work if you do it right. But not too many people obviously can do it.
I wouldn't have been half as mad as I was with the show if they would have had better fucking fight scenes. Excuse me.
I would have still been upset, even with better fight scenes.
I said
Steve,
half as bad.
You wanted a love story. That's what you wanted.
Not in Ahsoka. I wanted a love. Oh, speaking of,
wait a minute. Oh, his fight scene.
No, I forgot to say. While Sean was down here, we rewatched Matrix Resurrections, and I have to admit it wasn't as bad as I remember it being
when he was down here, because I watched it with you.
Yeah, that's right. When Sean was down here, yeah, and yes, there
was
some
as
things.
Bad of a movie as
I remember being pissed off that Neo didn't do any weapons and everything, but he didn't need to, and he did. They did show him progressing with the smaller, like force bubble or whatever you call it, the force push or whatever, and they showed that building up to the end where he really goes off with his force push or whatever. So it wasn't as bad. But the ending was the Trinity holding in the air was still god awful, and that's irredeemable. You can't. There's nothing you can do.
The Trinity stuff was bad. The Trinity, not Trinity stuff. Trinity was great. The Trinity discovering she can fly was the whole broken harness rig.
Yeah,
that scene in particular is
what I'm talking
only
about.
Bad Trinity.
You think that was a budget? You think? I don't think they had.
I feel like it was just a choice. They had a good budget. Like, if you watch that movie, it looks phenomenal. Like if you watch it on, like, say, a 4K Blu-ray and not streaming, Steve, the lighting and everything in that movie, like they had a budget for sure. And
it looked great when they smashed that car and then they ramped it with the motorcycle. Like, oh, that looks sweet. It's just when it came down to Trinity pulling Neo up, it just looked like dog shit.
All they had to do is just show him flying or show him falling, and then show her whoosh up into the air. That, you know what I mean? That's all you had to, and she could have been carrying Neo, it'd been fine. But that whole scene, it's probably not even a minute long, but it feels like about 10 minutes where she's just looks like she's hanging from a broken harness in the air. Like, oh, and like your little feet are kicking, because again, it just looks like a broken harness. It looks terrible. I don't know why that was the choice. but it really brings that whole movie down. But the whole movie is good in my opinion.
The story was better than I remembered it watching it the first time. You know what I mean? The plot and everything. It seemed to it made more sense the second time. I'm glad.
I think it was really well done and clever. Yeah. Wait, what'd you say? I want to hear that again. What's that? What'd you say, Rob?
I'm glad you had us rewatch it.
Okay,
I'll admit, I don't have a problem with it. I'm not.
I'm glad you.
I'm not like the big Matrix fan, like Knucklehead over there. As you look behind his head.
No, I'm glad we re-watched it too, because my 5 out of 10 went to a 7 out of 10. So that's nice.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah, I think I go as high as a 7.5 even.
I wanted to kick Niobe in the head the whole time, and just that stuff at the end with her holding Neo. But I mean, it was not as bad as I thought it was. I did stay up all night and watch it, and right before I had to go to work at 6 a.m. So, I mean, that had something to do with it. But
the first time you watched it,
you're right. The first time.
And it doesn't hold up compared to the original trilogy because to me, I love the martial arts scenes. That was a huge part of the Matrix for me. So the lack of choreographed fighting, and there still are decent fight scenes. The one on the train is okay, and then the one in that abandoned building with the dojo's good.
They threw that in there just so he could have some kicks and everything,
right?
Because they knew they weren't going to do that at the end. I'm assuming,
and it made sense from a story perspective that he would use, his Matrix powers or whatever. It did make sense, but I still just wanted to see martial arts.
It does, yeah, exactly. It makes sense. He doesn't need to use guns because he can stop bullets. There's no reason for him to use guns. I get it. I still want to see guns.
I want to see guns. I want to see martial arts.
Well, you see him at the airport, buddy.
Yeah. And I see him in John Wick too. So I just pretend like that's the Matrix.
Speaking of John Wick, did anybody watch The Continental?
I did.
Yet.
I enjoyed it. Do you like it?
I did too. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I got to check it out still.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I haven't watched the second episode yet.
It was better than any Star Wars shit I've watched on television.
And John Wick 4 was good too.
Dude, all the John Wicks are so good. Mm-hmm. I think 2 is probably the weakest in my opinion, but I like them all overall. And the fourth one was amazingly good for a fourth movie in a franchise.
It was really good.
All right, sorry I derailed. Back to Ahsoka. So what are we giving this? I'm like 5 out of 10 on Ahsoka.
I don't even want to rate it.
I got to give it like a 4, man. I was so disappointed.
It was
even the high beat, even the stuff I liked. Again, seeing as I thought everybody they cast as live action versions, Hera, Sabine, and Ezra, I thought they were all great. They all fit their roles really well.
Sabine took her helmet off multiple times again. And
that was so stupid. In combat, she would just let her helmet get taken off and then continue fight. And then at the end of combat, she'd be like, let me grab my helmet. Like, I feel like you should have kept that on, but okay. I'm just waiting for the Mandalorian to go down a route where they give him a reason to leave his helmet off all the time. And then I'm just going to be like, and I'm done. I'm fucking done. But here's the whole reason I don't think they'll do that. So you guys may or may not know this, but the Mandalorian is portrayed by 3 different people. You have Pedro Pascal, who does the voice work and some of the live action stuff. You have like a martial arts guy. Like he's like a stunt guy. He portrays him a lot. And there's another guy, like a white dude who does, I think he's also a stuntman. But basically, it works to their benefit because, one, they don't have to pay Pedro Pascal for every single episode except for maybe voice work and stuff. But because he's portrayed by 3 different people and 2 of them are basically unknown guys, that probably keeps the budget down. So I'm hoping that Disney wants to keep doing that. So hopefully we'll never see the Mandalorian just running around without his helmet all the time, because then they'd have to pay Pedro Pascal, or at least pay him for his digital likeness. Because who knows? They probably just do a digital version of him at this point. They don't give a shit. But yeah, Sabine and taking with their helmet off and stuff. Well, annoying is there's a lot of little annoying stuff that's not what I'm really mad about though. It's just more the lack of having a story to tell. I'm watching this stuff because I'm going to, they know they made the show for people like me, actually, the people who will just watch this stuff like they have no other choice because it's Star Wars. So I'm going to keep watching your Star Wars content. And then,
Sucker!
But then it turned out there's a whole subset of fans that actually are really into just seeing cameos all the fucking time.
Yeah, it's
And
huge.
I'm not that level of fan.
It's like 75-25 from what I pulled from the comment section. I was like,
Yeah.
dang, everybody loves, they're all fucking blowing a load over this. I'm like,
Yes.
I don't understand. Nothing happened.
Right.
Absolutely nothing
What
happened.
are you so excited about?
Yeah, and like you were saying, the two new characters, like Balin and whatever her name is.
I like them.
Satine, what's her name?
I don't know what they did.
Yeah, nothing happened with them, And now
I still don't know what
the one
he's up
dude's
to.
dead. Now the one dude's dead, so I don't know what they're doing now. But a lot of people liked it. I was like, okay.
So they did do the Mortis God statues at the end,
Yeah.
which again, I mean, it's a cool reference to Rebels. I did really like or maybe it's Clone Wars actually. I think it was Clone Wars that they did the Mortis Gods.
Yep.
Well,
and they did them in Rebels too. They went a little further.
Okay. But I'm just not really into that whole mystical angle of Star Wars though. That's probably the least interesting stuff to me is when you start bringing gods into it. It was interesting to watch in Clone Wars. I don't need a whole movie of that shit or TV show if that's what they're hinting at.
I enjoyed the Force leap or whatever. She helped him out leap onto the Star Destroyer.
And Ezra was great once he finally got a lightsaber. That made me happy.
Yeah.
Cool. And he did a good job with it too. It's just Rosario Dawson is not great for that kind of stuff, and because Ahsoka Tano is such a makeup and prosthetics, I just see no reason just do wide shots and put a stunt double in there,
right?
And then zoom in for the when they do like the blade clashes where they're holding them in place and stuff. But just get somebody else in there because Diana Lee Inosanto, the woman who played Morgan Elsbeth, she's been a martial artist her whole life and it shows. Like she's probably got 10, 15 years or more on Rosario Dawson and is like, oh, she's gonna kick her ass.
I hate to see her go.
She really putting in the believable shit.
Yeah, and it was like just you said, Ezra. Overall. You could tell Ezra just looked better with a lightsaber. He looked more relaxed, more fluid. Everybody else looked like stiffs.
So disappointing overall. So, other show, the first episode of Loki season 2. Everybody watch that.
Mm-hmm.
So I really liked this episode. I'm not. I've been skipping a lot of Marvel stuff because I generally just lost interest. Loki is not one of my favorite characters or anything. I did enjoy season 1. I thought season 2 opened strong, and I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to episode 2.
I love the time. I love the time slipping. What'd you guys think? I thought that was great.
Quality TV.
Yeah, I love the Obi guy, like periodically being uploaded with new memories that were happening in the past, and they were just getting to him in the
and they
present.
showed it in the present.
Yeah, I thought that was really neat, man.
And I love Owen Wilson. I've loved him since.
I was going to say the dynamic with Hiddleston and Wilson is really good. I mean, the dialogue and everything they work well together.
And that was
Obi.
Yeah. That was a great scene where they were all working together at the end to get him in before the blast doors closed. It was intense. Yeah. It was intense, man.
I was wondering how he's going to get there in time.
Right.
So who pruned Loki?
I feel like it was just another Loki. I don't know.
You think?
I mean, that's my guess.
Don't know.
It's not based in anything other than a random guess, though. So don't take that as like I have some sort. I've done zero research. But it's also I feel like that one guard was real shady too, though. That one guy.
There was a lot of him, wasn't there? That big tall guy.
Something. Yeah. The one, whatever he's called. I forget, worked for the TVA.
I don't know.
Like they got something going on there. Their own agenda.
Well, they all were going through, and we were like, where? They were like, where everybody going there?
I think that's misdirection, though. I don't think it's going to be anything.
I don't know. You don't have to cover all the plot holes when it's entertaining. But
I enjoyed it. I'm excited to watch more. I was disappointed to find out that it does not come out on Tuesday nights. I assumed it did. Did it come? When did it come out last week? It came out on
the
Thursday.
Reason why it's Thursdays because Ahsoka was still going on, and then they had the first episode of Loki before I think Ahsoka ended, and then Loki started.
Oh, okay.
So it's on Thursdays, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thursday nights.
Did you see the post-credit scene with Sylvie?
Yes.
Okay.
In the McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yes.
That town in Oklahoma or whatever, I guess from what I was reading, that's where Thor set up New Asgard in the comics or something.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh,
that was a
okay, sure.
little Easter egg I thought was kind of cool that I read.
Hmm.
But man, that show was great. I really enjoyed that show a lot. I can't wait till this next episode.
Yeah, and as somebody who's not invested in the MCU right now, I enjoyed it. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Stuff happened. Things happened.
Stuff
It
happened.
started off with a bang, unlike Ahsoka, where nothing happened for 8 entire episodes. We had an eventful episode.
You liked the first season of Loki, right?
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed it.
I did too.
It's nothing I felt like I had to rewatch or anything. I wasn't super into it, but I definitely enjoyed it. Again, there's always that part of me that's just not really into multiversal stuff, but they're doing a good job with it as far as the storytelling element goes. So
I thought they did a good job explaining it to me, because usually I get lost on stuff like that, but I followed everything.
Well, I had to look up Renslayer. I couldn't remember who that was. It was like the black
judge
lady who was in charge of the TVA or something, who like issued all the orders.
And then who's the other one? B-15 or something like that? She was in the first
she's
season.
She's one of like the soldiers or enforcers or whatever, but
yeah,
I don't remember her name. I don't remember a lot about it because I didn't rewatch it, but so I did enjoy it though.
Have you heard anything about Kang? Like, what are they doing with this?
From what I understand, they filmed his stuff. I mean, I believe he's in this series.
Okay,
which goes back to the hypocrisy of corporations. How they always want to separate themselves anytime one of their employees
properties is doing good.
Well, no, they want to separate themselves when one of their employees ends up on the front page for something bad, for abuse, sexual abuse, whatever it is. This time, Disney didn't really have anything to say about this guy because they'd already filmed his shit and they didn't want to refilm his shit. From what I'm guessing, they were just like, "We'll just shut up." And meanwhile, I'm like, "That's all corporations ever had to do is just shut the fuck up."
Right?
Like, people don't. I don't expect corporations to come out. Corporations aren't moral. All they do is take advantage of people. So you don't need to come out and be like, "We stand with our LGBTQ allies and blah blah blah." No, you don't. You don't fucking care.
Right?
You're a corporation.
Right.
You just think this will bring you more money. And then Budweiser did it, and they're like, "Oh shit, we should not have stood with our LGBTQ community. It fucked us royally." Like that. Just shut up. Just shut the fuck up. Corporations don't need to take moral stances. This isn't fucking idiocracy. Carl's Jr. is not going to adopt your child.
Did I tell you
if you're a bad parent?
Did I tell you I was talking to one of the Bud Light vendors at work, and he was like, "Dude, Bud Light sales have tanked.
Yeah,
like they are not coming back anytime soon." But he was like, "But you know what's the number one beer?" It was Modelo, which is owned by Budweiser. So
right.
people started buying different beer. They don't even know it's from the same company.
Same company. They don't do the research, dude. They don't do the research. Ever.
I was just laughing my ass off. But yeah, I mean, corporations don't give a fuck. Just release the shit, If people don't want to watch it, they won't watch it.
Stop coming out with moral stances like Jesus fucking Christ.
Right.
We know you don't actually care.
Right.
We're just adopting whatever is currently. Like I said, if the current moral outrage was literally like, if it was like the KKK all of a sudden became popular, they'd be like, "We're with our KKK brothers. We support racism." Like that, you know what I mean? Like that's all they do. They don't give a shit what the actual message is. They're just going to support whatever they think is popular at the time. They don't fucking care.
Right. They're just looking at their bottom line. How is this going to affect this?
If they think outright racism will sell more beer, they'll do that, which Bud Light, that's pretty much what they have to do at this point. Is just come out, be totally racist, be totally sexist, transphobic, and then they'll sell more beer. Maybe they'll get some more Bud Light in people's hands. But they really didn't know their audience there, which is shocking to me. It's like, do you not know you not see who's drinking Bud Light?
I heard hockey. I guess they used to have an LGBTQ night at the hockey games now, and they're getting rid of that because I guess some players spoke up or something. So they're like,
"You can shit."
They're like, you could still wear your stuff to the game, but we're not going to make it a night or something like that. I was like, okay, whatever.
People that so
They,
insecure with themselves, I swear to
right.
God.
They care so much about stuff that doesn't impact their lives
Yeah.
whatsoever.
So you said they did film everything, and they're gonna release everything for Loki
As far
season
as I
2?
know, yeah, they already filmed all his stuff. Um,
Dude,
so
I'm excited for this Loki series. I am having so much fun. First season I loved. This season is off to a great start.
I'm looking at Marvel TV like the Browns. I'm not gonna get super excited. They fooled me too many times.
Dude, I dropped
right.
like $1,500 on those tickets for everybody to go last week, and the Ravens just dismantled us. I was like,
Dude, I'll tell you what, Lamar Jackson looked good that game. He was
yeah.
throwing dimes, man.
And I was just, dude, I was buying beer, I was buying merchandise, dude. I spent so much money there, and they got their ass freaking beat. But the kids seem to have a great time, so it was like,
Don pulled out a gun.
Dom pulled out a gun. I mean, it was a wild fucking week, man.
Started blasting caps off. People were running. We got to move up a few rows.
Oh
Good
my
time.
god. Oh man. Dude, I know why they tell you to show up early at the airport, because man, on the way home, I was flying out of Cleveland. I got there an hour and a half early, and that line to get through security was out the fucking door, man. Like we barely
Wow.
made it. Like we made it to the gate just as they were boarding.
Sunday morning,
Wow.
bro. Sunday
Dude,
morning.
it was. I
Everybody
was like,
heading
dude, I'm
back.
here an hour and a fucking half, and like we didn't get, we didn't have a gun this time, so we didn't get slowed up at all. It was just waiting in line.
Well, that's the whole thing is, I mean, people make fun of me because I do like to get to the airport 90 minutes to 2 hours early. I know it, and everybody's like, ha. And sometimes, yeah, sometimes it's 20 minutes and I'm sitting at my gate now but I'd rather sit at my gate for the next 90 minutes
I'm with
than
you,
stand
dude.
in line
I am
looking at my
so
watch going, God damn it. What
Mhm.
did somebody bring a fucking gun? What's going on up there? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be that guy.
Right.
So
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, oh, I'm so that guy, and it was like,
you are that guy.
I'm that guy. I'm that guy. But yeah, I like before leaving to Cleveland, I was like, did I really need to get up an hour and a half early? I mean, come
yes.
on, I could just show up to
Yeah.
the gate like 30 minutes before. Nope, never again. I'm always
You
coming
never know
early.
because you don't know because you're always just thinking of your own flight. You don't know what other flights are leaving at that time. You know,
Mhm.
there's so many airlines there, so all of a sudden there could be 16 flights leaving between 4 and 4:30 or whatever, and all those people show up at the same time. You got the people running late. You got the people super early.
They
You
don't
got the
have
people
enough
who kind of
TSA agents.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a problem too. They need to hire some more.
But
I was just very
I'd rather be
happy.
the early guy. I'll be the dad that gets memed because I show up too fucking early to the airport. Much rather be that guy than
Oh,
be
are
the
you a
guy who's
boomer
just
like me?
dude. When it comes to getting to the airport, hell yes,
You sound like it.
I do not like the idea of dude. I ran through an airport once. It was LAX. I never want to do that again. It wasn't my fault, but because we had like limo service to the airport was when I won that contest or whatever. Um, and it was because I was one of a many contest winners. The limo that picked us up and dropped us off. I think there were like 3 or 4 people in our limo, all going to different flights. My flight initially, I was going to be sitting at the airport for 11 hours when I got to the airport, but then I go up to the kiosk, and this was like almost 20 years ago now, 17 years ago. So you didn't have like we didn't have smartphones, so you didn't have your pass on your phone. You had to go up to a kiosk still. So I go up to a kiosk to check in, and it's like, hey, there's a flight leaving in a half hour to Cleveland or something. Do you want to take that? It's $25 extra, and my flight was all paid for. But I was like, for 25, and they actually had manned people at the counter back then. So I asked the lady at the counter, if I buy this ticket, do you think I'll make it to the gate? And she's like, oh yeah, you'll make it. It's like literally like 30 minutes or something. And I hadn't even, I just gotten to the airport, hadn't been through security yet. So I was literally, and I didn't know LAX, so I'm just running through the fucking airport and I made it, but I don't like that feeling though.
Did you at least have one of those walking escalators so you could speed up during?
I don't even remember. Probably there's the people movers,
Yeah,
as Maggie calls them.
those things are nice.
Yeah.
I think my wife was genuinely shocked. Like when I called her, I'm like, we're in Memphis. Like I did it. I got the kids and myself to Memphis by myself, like without her. Like I was quite proud of myself, and it almost didn't happen because we were taking a restroom break, and I think it was like 30 minutes before we were supposed to leave or something like that. And I was like, let's go get something to eat. And Brooklyn was like, no, they said they were boarding. Like I didn't even hear it. Brooklyn heard it.
Jesus Christ.
So,
Jesus Christ.
So my daughter probably saved me. So,
yeah, you should have been like, not only did I do it, I didn't have any guns this time. So, who's the common denominator here, Kristen?
Kristen flew for a conference, work conference a week before, and she had a pocket knife in her bag she didn't know about. So she was that guy twice in 3 weeks.
Man, she's a problem traveler. Jesus fucking Christ.
Right, exactly.
They're going to flag her at some point. Like, this chick is always bringing weapons.
She's already flagged. They got people posted out front in a van watching us now. All right, Jesus. Transformers, baby.
All right, Transformers, War for Cybertron, Siege. So season 1 of a 3-part trilogy. It's like Siege. I forget the next one, and then Earthrise or something. Anyway,
I think
we watched Siege. 6 episodes. This was written by Rooster Teeth, and if you don't know who that is, you might know them from a little web series back in the day called Red versus Blue.
Oh, yeah.
They took the Halo engine and made really funny videos online, pre YouTube era even. That were really entertaining, just using the multiplayer from Halo 1, and wrote really funny dialogue. And so anybody who was into Halo back then inevitably got into Red versus Blue. I still have a first few seasons on DVD somewhere. Really funny stuff, but they're still around. They're production house, and they did this Transformers series for Netflix, and it's all CGI. And I thought it looked fantastic. The Transformers look great. The voice actors they hired were great. I don't think it was Peter Cullen or whatever, but they got a guy that was very similar, that had a very, mimicked his delivery and stuff. And the main thing I love about this whole, and I've watched the entire series before. I didn't rewatch the whole series recently. I just watched the first 6 episodes, but I just love that the whole thing is about the Transformers. There's no wikis. There's no humans. You don't need humans to tell a Transformer story. And which is something I've been screaming forever. And they finally made one. And I'm like, oh, it's the best Transformers because there's no fucking humans. They're focusing on the Transformers. We don't need humans here. It's not necessary. And so I really enjoyed it. They had my boy Jetfire in it. Dude. And they told his story, how he went from Decepticon to Autobot.
Dude, I remember shitting on you for picking this last podcast.
Sure did.
And I fucking loved it. And when you said Jetfire, I was like, Red Alert used to be my favorite Transformer. Now I'm like, give me some Jetfire, dude. I was looking on eBay. Yeah. They had a Jetfire. It was like, it was like $700 and shit. I was like, now that sword, is that something new in the show? Or did he have a sword in because I didn't
Jetfire or Optimus Prime. Who are you talking
Jetfire. About? I didn't see a sword in the package. Transformer.
I've never
package.
seen. I don't know a lot about Transformers, to be honest. But toy wise, I don't think I've seen the sword before.
Okay, because Jetfire was like, dude, this dude is badass, man. I'm like,
and he's giant. The toy is giant too, which I've always loved.
Yeah, he's a lot bigger than it. I can watch a Transformer transform in and out of a battle. Like I'll watch that all day. I'm here for that. Like when you're in a battle and you're transforming, and then you're going back to the plane or the ship or the jet or the car, and then you come out of the car and then you're using the sword and then you're back to the car. I watch that shit all day, dude. Yeah, and then you get, like Rob said, you get the sound.
I can never do anything close to the sound, but yeah, everybody knows the transforming sound. They even used it in the Michael Bay movies. But dude, this is Transformers done right, in my opinion. Though much better than Michael Bay shit and stuff. Even though it doesn't skewed towards adults, but I definitely think it was definitely meant for more mature viewers than your typical, 5 to 10 year olds or whatever they usually make these cartoons for.
Yeah.
Felt like this was definitely a little bit more mature. You got Transformers actually got fucking killed. I mean, which, they did in the movie and stuff, but it's not something you really see a lot.
They
Like
had them
they
on
made,
pikes, dude.
yeah, well, dude, Ultra Magnus, I was like, whoa, that was quite an arc for him, man. Like, uh,
And you get was this an origin story to the movies or
no, it's its own thing. It's just they created their own. It's War for Cybertron. They took elements from past, shows and comics and toy lines and stuff, but I don't think it's meant to fit in any. I think it's its own reality or its own. What's the word I'm looking for? Somebody help me out here. What's the word? It's on the tip of my tongue, but I
its
can't.
own
Anyway,
property?
but it's I'll blurt it out in like 5 minutes when it hits me. But
What
anyway,
the
but it's its
first
own thing though.
the first movie, the Allspark was on Earth, right, or something?
Yeah, I think I think that was the premise of the
Michael
original
Bay.
cartoon. Oh, the Michael Bay thing, yeah. Allspark was on Earth, but even the original cartoon, I think they came to Earth just because Cybertron was destroyed at that point, and that's something they're like leading up to with this show. So it is a retelling of stuff, but I don't think it fits into any other like timeline
It's
or
its own
chronology.
origin story type deal thing.
Yeah,
was
it's not true.
Yeah, that was like Bumblebee before he was an Autobot. So that was
Right.
interesting.
Okay. Here's my only problem with the cartoon. Why are they cars? They haven't been to Earth yet.
So this was a discussion Rob and I had a few weeks ago after he watched it, and these are the issues I've always had with Transformers. Like, because Logan asked me, because I told Logan I was like, I'd love to write a Masters of the Universe movie or show or something. He's like, why don't you work on something cool like Transformers? And I was like, I'll tell you why. I've actually thought about Transformers, and once I start, because of just the way my brain works, once I start thinking about Transformers, they're just absurd.
Yes.
They're machines. So how are they born / created? Secondly, why do they die if they could just be repaired? And then, like Rob said, why do they look like human,
vehicles?
Trucks,
yeah,
and in vehicles when they're on a planet that has nothing to do with Earth? There's just all this obviously just goes back to the fact that it was a toy line made for kids, but in universe explanations, I'm just very confused by the whole thing. How are Transformers made or born or created? Do they fuck? Do they not? Like, what happens? Do they lay Transformer eggs?
It's very.
How do they have gender?
It's very simple.
Right.
In any universe, the first thing, they'll start with fire, and then they're going to create the wheel, and then after that, wheel. What do you do with the wheel? You build a fucking chassis on top of that bitch.
But where do they even come from? Like, they talk about it like a source or something, maybe.
Oh no.
But like, I just don't, like Rob said. How do they establish gender? There's just too much. There's too much of that shit that occupies my brain space that I don't know that I'd be a good Transformers writer.
Man. I can't. It's like
they're not. They're non-binary,
which would make sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, they all have their own personalities, their own voices, all these different traits. And again, the real world reason is just, it was something created to sell toys to kids. So, and plus it was pulled from like 11 different fucking toy lines. That's why everything's out of scale with each other. Like when you go back to the original Transformers toys, you had like Optimus Prime was, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 inches tall in robot form. And then like a year or two later, you had Blaster, who was a boombox, and he just towers over Optimus Prime. It's like, how big is that fucking boombox? That was all scale issues. But even as a kid, I thought about this stuff.
Yeah.
Because again, the reason was, and I didn't know this at the time, but the reason is they were literally pulling from all these different Japanese toy lines, Diaclone, Micromasters, or whatever, and they were just kind of mashing them all together. So you'd get like, Megatron turns into a handgun the size of the White House, apparently. I don't know.
They just copied the shit that was selling over there. Yeah, you saw that.
No, they just bought it. They literally just bought it.
Did they buy it? I couldn't remember.
Yeah, they bought it and rebranded it, basically. Yeah. There are multiple toy brands and lines. Yeah. Like I said, Diaclone and Micro Men or Micromasters or something were like the two main ones. But I think there were even more than that. They were just like, if it transformed, they fucking bought it. Hasbro bought it and, put a put a little Autobot or Decepticon sticker on it.
They made the cartoon.
Why did you guys have to present me with this information? Because now, like,
Why
I'm
did
thinking
you
about
not think of it right away? That's
because it's me, dude. You guys take the logical next step. I'm off in Never Land. Right now, I'm thinking about like a fucking transformer with a womb and a baby in a womb.
the
And
first
like,
guy.
do you even have? Are there baby transformers? Have you ever seen a baby
We don't
transformer?
know. We don't
Good
know.
question.
What the
It's a good
fuck?
question.
Dude, the first episode, I was like, why is he a fucking truck? He hadn't been to Earth yet. It bothered the hell out of me. It took me 2 to 3 episodes to get just like wipe my brain. I was like, okay, I just got to get over this. And I enjoyed it a little more after the first 3 episodes. I had so many questions and it was bugging the hell out of me.
Now see, that doesn't hit me that like I can enjoy Transformers. Like I said,
Yeah.
I didn't really.
It took me 3 episodes. I swear to you.
They didn't hit me until like I did think about like how would I write a Transformers, and this is something I thought about like after watching like the 3rd or 4th Michael Bay movie, and I'm just like, and I was like, dude, what would I do differently? And that's when my brain just went down its own rabbit hole where it's like, where do these fuckers even come from?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like so, but it doesn't impair my enjoyment for watching this. Like I don't have these questions when I'm watching. I'm just watching. There's cool characters.
no, I can't.
All right, so you take cars away, you take guns away, you take tanks away, you take planes away. What are they transforming into?
Well,
right,
a picnic basket?
I don't know.
What's the point of even transforming? But there's no point for them to even transform on that planet
because they're already beings.
But you could look at it as it's utilitarian. It's a survival thing. You know, the way a lot of animals blend in with their environment. You know, chameleons kind of change color supposedly to blend in. So it could be something like that. It's just something an inherent trait.
And you did see them in that Michael Bay movie. You saw them what they looked like before they copied something.
Right.
So that made sense.
They did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
But like Rob said, they hadn't been to Earth yet, so why the fuck are they a truck?
Why does Optimus Prime look like a fucking semi, a Mack truck or whatever?
Yeah.
And they do modify him. I mean, he doesn't look directly like a Mack truck.
Oh no, he looks like a fucking truck.
Well, no, he does, but I mean, he's still roboticized to some extent. But yeah, if anybody sees that for a second, they're going to think it's a semi, and rightfully so.
I thought
but again, I can get past all that. What's that?
I thought Ultra Magnus was Optimus Prime for a second. Like they looked alike.
Oh, okay.
They looked alike to me. So I didn't know who the fuck that was. I've never seen the movie, Transformers movie.
Well, here's the thing. So the Mack truck company, the one with they have the dog ornament, right?
That's Mack, yeah.
So they actually originated on Cybertron. It turns out. I read this on the Wikipedia page.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Then.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. All right.
Yeah. Maybe we're the ones that copied them.
Right. Yeah. Mack
now it all makes sense. Earth copied. Yeah.
There you go. So we could do that. But anyway, but aside, again, like I said, that's not something I really think about when I'm watching. It's just something I thought about when I was like trying to think about anything better than the Michael Bay movies. But I thought they did a good job establishing relationships, character arcs. You know, the Starscream Megatron thing. Skywarp gets killed. Starscream steps in. Like they always have that. Megatron and Starscream always have that push pull mechanic.
Better character arc than Ahsoka.
You know what? You know what character I didn't like?
I cared about the characters.
I didn't like Alita. Like she was always.
Oh, really?
She was always questioning Optimus. I'm like, bitch, shut the fuck up. This is Optimus Prime.
I liked it though because
every fucking 5 minutes, man. Are you sure you want to do this? We can't do this. Shut up.
But her arc at the end of the show was she stayed behind and because of everything that she was true to her character at the end.
Yeah, Optimus is better without her. Leave her on that planet.
But also, and because I've seen the other two, I know that does have an impact down the line, though, too. It's not the last you see of Alita. It's not the last you see of Cybertron in this series. I would recommend to keep watching it. I did enjoy it.
Is Megatron terrifying to you guys? Because like he's
so evil in this,
right?
He's just like pure evil in this show. It's great,
dude. He is such a good
it's
villain.
Funny though, they try to give him that motivation though too, where you understand why he broke off. Mm-hmm. Like it makes sense, but
I was with him too, like halfway through the show, and then I was like, okay, this guy has gone off the rails.
I thought he kind of progressed to evil because he didn't want to hurt his friend, and then he kind of just took the dark path, man. Then he
right, and yeah, it wasn't an instant switch, which was cool
right.
too. It
And
wasn't like
Anakin.
no, I'm sorry. The same when he visited that section they were going to shut down. You know, he like went,
yeah,
checked it out, and he's like, "Fuck it, kill him." You know.
Yeah.
yeah.
So he
But
was
yeah,
he was contemplating it. You know.
but yeah, he was definitely formidable and evil, and you could. But
God, I hate
you
to
know, the
say
game.
this, a fucking cartoon was better than fucking Ahsoka, man.
Yeah, it
Dude, the
fucking
really
cartoon was
storytelling.
better than the fucking movies.
Yeah, easily. Yeah,
Oh,
that's why I
yeah.
wanted you guys. I was like, there is good Transformers shit out
It
there.
was well written.
It does exist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
And it was clearly written by, unlike Masters of the Universe, it was written by people who actually enjoyed the property. They weren't like, okay, first thing we do, kill off Optimus Prime, make it about Alita.
right.
That wasn't step one. With instead, they're like, hey, let's flesh out these relationships. Imagine if we did that and we made Alita, gave her just as strong of a character as Optimus Prime, and gave her her own path to go down. Imagine that. Steve didn't like her particular path, but still, that's also good though too. Like, I mean, you're going to have a well-written character. I think it's better that you have strong feelings about their behavior than you do about why are they here? What purpose do they serve? You know why she's there. You don't like it, but you understand it. So
I don't like it when a woman tells a man what to do. Don't like it. No, you know what I enjoyed was Mirage a lot. Like the way
I've never really been a Mirage guy, but now I'm like, I was looking at the toys afterwards. I was like, dude, I love this guy.
Yeah, and the way he camouflaged the whole space bridge and tried to hold it out as long as he could.
Yes,
dude. That every character, like you said, it was real.
Oh, Wheeljack, I think, is the other one I would really like too.
Yeah, Wheeljack was cool. Now, you said Jetfire was your favorite Transformer?
He was so. And dude, I have very vivid memories. Like we would ride that bus and pick up Joey Mangan in the mornings, and another school friend who had a much better life despite being a Seventh Day Adventist.
Had
and,
more money.
I remember yeah, everybody did, but he wasn't rich or anything. We saw the place he stayed, but anyway. But he got on the bus one day with Jetfire, and I hadn't seen the show. I was aware of Transformers. I don't think I had really seen the show. And that was like the first Transformer I saw where I was like, whoa, this is fucking awesome. And he just looked cool. He looks completely different. And that was actually based on, that was, again, because they were buying toys, they're buying toy lines from any Japanese company who made something that transformed. They bought this design, was actually for a show in Japan called Macross, better known in America as Robotech. So the original
nice.
Jetfire actually looks like a Veritech fighter from the Robotech series, and which I can't remember if I had seen Robotech yet or not. So I didn't, but whichever one I saw first, whichever one I saw second, I was like, hey, this looks like that other thing. So Jetfire has changed a lot, and he was called Skyfire over here for a while. I don't know what's going on with that, but yeah, I've always, ever since that introduction, and he was huge too. He was like a big figure. Ever since that introduction to Jetfire, I've always thought he was cool. And then his story has always been, he was like friends with Starscream, and then he ended up, he was like, wait a minute. I did think it was they were kind of pushing a little bit because they kind of gave him like evil voice at first. And then they were like, when he became an Autobot, all of a sudden he kind of lost that Starscream kind of hiss to his voice.
Yeah.
It's like, that wasn't really necessary to give him a hiss to his voice. He could have always just talked normal.
I love Starscream, man.
Yeah.
And like I was saying, like Jetfire is my new favorite Transformer, but
Excellent.
it was Red Alert, and I sent you guys a picture of one. I think it was Christmas. One time, Mom and Dad got Rob and I both Transformers, and I got the picture I sent you. His name's Hoist, and
I do remember you having this.
And Rob got Red Alert, and Red Alert was like a Lamborghini, a medical Lamborghini.
Yeah.
And I got,
he's like, yeah.
And I got Hoist.
Sorry.
I got Hoist, this truck, construction truck or something. And I just, because I'm a spoiled fucking brat, I'm like, Rob, I don't want this one, trade me. And of course, Rob's a good guy, so he gave me Red Alert. And then Rob got Hoist, and Rob got
Hoist,
and that's probably why Rob doesn't like Transformers, is because he had that shitty ass construction truck to play with.
I think it's a tow truck. I don't even. It looks maybe some kind of tow truck. I don't know.
I think it was a tow truck.
Yeah.
I do remember seeing that, and then nobody remembers Hoist. You sent that to me, and I was just like, I remember seeing this. I have no idea who this is, though.
Yeah, I had to look it up. I knew exactly what it looked like because I was like, fuck this. Why didn't I get the Lamborghini?
Right. The weird, like, ambulance Lamborghini. Isn't that what it was? Was it some kind of... It was so weird. It was like, why would this be a medical vehicle? You can barely fit like conscious people in this fucking thing.
Whatever like, what it was, it was cool as fuck. And I was like, it's way better than this shitty ass green truck.
So yeah, I would give this on our 4-star scale. I love that we use like 8 different grading scales on this show.
Right. We need to pick one right now and go with it. Let's do a 5-star scale. That way we can have.
You want to go to a completely different one. So we use 10 and 4. Now you want to go like, 5?
We're going 5. We're going 5. That way we can 10. Have a 3. All right, we'll do 10.
We'll just do it out of 10. I would give this like a 7.5 out of 10, maybe even an 8. 7.5 to 8 out of 10.
I'm going higher. I'd go 8.5. I really enjoyed this, and I didn't think I would.
Nice.
I really, like you said, they fleshed out the characters. The stakes were incredibly high. I mean, I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, I know they get to Earth, so I know they, get to the space bridge. But even after knowing all that, I still was on the edge of my seat. I did start the next episode. I'm only halfway through.
Nice. It gets weird.
Does it? Oh, you watched it all? Oh, nice.
Yeah. Which is weird because after 3 episodes, I was like, I can't watch this shit. And then I was like, fuck it. I'll just keep watching. And it got better.
Okay.
I think I got all. Huh?
Did you watch all 18 episodes?
I watched the whole first season. Whatever it was.
Okay.
I didn't watch. I started watching the second one. And it got it with the heads and shit. And I was like, oh.
Council or whatever.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Oh, yeah. What was up with that giant ass, the Guardians or whatever? That was cool.
Omega Supreme, dude. I love Omega Supreme. Was another favorite of mine. He was a giant transformer.
That was an actual transformer, like in the cartoon.
Back in the day. Dude, I didn't see a lot of the cartoon. I remember more of the toys than anything. Again, friends who had the toys, but also the brochures that came with the Transformers. Because I really, I didn't have access to the Transformers. Some of my friends were kind enough to just give me the little foldouts, and I would just stare at the fucking Transformers. So I would read about them and know them from that. Basically, Omega Supreme was like this giant like train rocket playset thing, and I just thought he looked so cool. So it was cool when he, how they're supposed to be neutral, and in the end he ends up helping them out. And I was like, my boy Omega Supreme.
I don't remember any of this shit. Like when I was watching, I was like, this is great, man.
Dude, look up Omega Supreme. Like look up the playset. Like they have a new one. It came out, I think, because of the show, but even the original, it was like yellow, brown, and red were the colors. It was just stuff I always, just kind of fantasized about having, but he looked sweet. It was a giant playset back then.
Yeah. That was, like we were saying, much better than the movies or anything else.
Yeah. And again, I really liked the CGI look of the show. Like I thought it was a great, in between the cartoon and the movies, they looked like the toys, which I appreciated instead of those terrible Michael Bay designs. And then it's also a Dolby Vision show. It looks fantastic. It's just a fantastic looking show. It's just so sharp, 4K Dolby Vision, really, really cool show.
Yeah. So now I have to buy Red Alert on eBay. So thanks.
Get me an Omega Supreme while you're there.
Sounds like a burrito.
I meant
Quizardo Supreme.
Quizardo Supreme.
Quizardo.
Quizardo.
I'm buying Red Alert. I'm buying Jetfire. I'm buying all these motherfuckers now. Sorry, Kristen.
Oh, yeah. Boy.
Dude, they're fucking sweet, man. Rob, what was your overall score?
Yeah, it was 7.
7? Okay.
Wow, I like this one the best, huh?
Dude, I liked it a lot. I did. But yeah, I guess I'll give it an 8 overall. I thought it was, there were some elements I thought were a little slow is why, it's not higher rated. Not every bit of dialogue was compelling necessarily, but
it picked
overall
up.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was solid characterization. Again, things actually happened. People you cared about actually died, made sacrifices, made bad choices and things like that. just stuff you want to see in a story, basically.
There was undead Transformers too.
Yeah, I was
like,
again, why does that? I don't even. What does that mean? How does that work?
I don't know.
Like,
and do they procreate? I don't know.
Right.
These are questions that need answered.
So many questions when it comes to Transformers biology. Is it biology? What's it called? They're cybernetic organisms. So, like, I don't even. Robology? What is it called?
I don't know, but
yeah,
I'm going to be up all night thinking about this now.
I cannot believe you never like pondered that.
That's just how I am. I don't go if it's not right in front of me.
Know.
I don't expand my mind in any ways. I just take what's in front of me.
There's nothing wrong with that. It makes enjoying things a lot easier for sure.
Yeah,
and like I said, the only reason, I mean, I did have a few questions as a kid, mostly to do with scale. You know, like again, why is this boombox bigger than a Mack truck? But as an adult, that only came up because of the Michael Bay movies. Because again, I just mentally was like, dude, it's got to be you. Surely anybody could write a better Transformers movie than this.
With Wiki,
you don't. They didn't involve humans or the U.S. military. Any of the things Michael Bay seems to think are essential to action movies, which you have the Transformers property and you're like, let's make it about Shia LaBeouf. And it's like, no, like that's not Transformers. Make it about the fucking Transformers. What a fucking idiot. What a moron. That dude's a multimillionaire. So there's a lot of jealousy there for sure. To be like, oh, I'm going to make a Transformers movie with, I'll just do Transformer cameos. Do some comedy bits and have Bumblebee piss on somebody, and that'll be the movie. Like that's what he did basically. And I went to go see it. I was like, yeah, I'll watch that because it's Transformers.
Well, at least they got Megan Fox right. With Wiki.
But yeah, it's on Netflix. War for Cybertron. I do recommend it. Steve clearly recommends it. Rob half-heartedly recommends it.
Yeah. 7, man. What do you want?
2 thumbs up.
I'm 51 years old. Jesus. I just watched a Transformer cartoon. My wife is watching The Love Boat. She finished that. Now she's watching Benson.
That's very Molly to watch Benson.
Wow.
That just seems very Molly.
It's better.
I remember watching Benson.
Better written than Ahsoka.
Yeah. Well, and so were Transformers. You complain about watching Transformers, but you love Star Wars.
No, I'm not complaining about. I said it's good. It's all right.
Why did they have to fuck up Ahsoka? God damn it, man.
I don't know, man.
Hey, at least they didn't do her dirty like they did Boba Fett. Like at least she got to use her lightsabers.
Yeah.
They didn't turn her into a crime lord who doesn't do crime.
Dude,
just spends all his time in a bathtub.
That was really bad.
Being short, fat, and bald.
I just gotta stop going in with these high expectations, man. You gotta lower.
Well, it was Filoni, and I still hold Filoni in high regard. Like I know typically, it's like, oh, you're only as good as your last project or whatever. But the dude's put out a lot of quality content. He's allowed to have, some that some failures.
I'd really like to know how much his hands are tied in some of this stuff.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier, though. Like that's the issue. So that's what's great about. I was rewatching the new Ninja Turtles movie. I put it on for background noise all the time. I really enjoy it. It's light and enjoyable, and it's fun. And what I love is that and I still haven't thought of the word, but it's for lack of the word, I can't think. I'm sure listeners are screaming the word at me, which is really funny. But it's its own reality. Basically, it's not based on the cartoon. It doesn't tie in to any other, timeline, or it doesn't tie into the comics. It doesn't tie into any of the previous cartoon series or the previous movies. And I prefer that. I'd rather have these reboots, reinventions than have everything just have to be canon to one timeline. Like I'd rather see an animated Star Wars that carried on the adventures of Han, Luke, and Leia. And it's not canon. It doesn't have to be canon. I just want to see those characters again.
You weren't trying to think of the word universe, were you?
No, not universe. I can't fucking, and it's an obvious word. And this is what happens when you get old, folks, and you don't exercise your brain.
And Sean just shit his pants.
I did that a while ago.
See, I'd be okay. But, I'd go the opposite. I'd be all right with just a totally new era, like just some different, in the Jedi universe, in the Star Wars
No,
universe.
I'm good with. I've talked about that too. Like you could go 15,000 years in the past.
Yeah,
You could go
yeah.
15,000 years in the future.
Yeah.
Don't mention the word Skywalker.
Right.
I'm okay with that too. And that's the other thing is like they keep trying to bring it back to like this one family, this one name. And it's like, dude, there's so many. Again, Mandalorian Andor, other than the Luke Skywalker cameo at the end of season 2, Mandalorian is its own thing going on in the universe, and it's not majorly tied into the events of the Star Wars movies.
Right.
He did not really help out during the war, It's his own story. And that I think that's great. And you don't have to tie it into some larger thing. But then when they do Ahsoka, Ahsoka has all this history, right? And the other thing that kind of pisses me off too is the fact that so Anakin, out of all the characters from the, like, say the first 6 Star Wars movies, Anakin's story is the one that has the most coverage when you think about it. From a little boy to his death, plus you have the Clone Wars. You have like 6-7 seasons of Clone Wars in between there. We've got a complete Anakin picture for the most part. Again, I would love to see the Darth Vader adventures, but that's a different thing. But we've got a very good picture of Anakin. Why does Ahsoka's story have to tie in so much with Anakin? Why can't she be her own person? I think she is interesting enough that they don't need to just keep her shackled to Anakin all the fucking time. The other fans seem to disagree with me. They've seen Anakin as wonderful, but she's had her own journey too, from being a little kid fighting in the Clone Wars.
There's a whole section from after Clone Wars to like now that she's older, in Rebels. There's a whole section you could have done that we know nothing of what she did. You know what I mean?
Right.
Is it because they had to address her guilt for leaving her
why
Jedi?
she left? Who cares? We all understand.
I know
why
as a fan, that wasn't something I needed to see. I didn't need to see her address that.
I understood why she left. I got it.
Yeah, but because Anakin turned to the dark side, maybe she felt guilty, or maybe that was some of her fault or something.
Yeah, but they did a bad job of portraying it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, they had that whole freaking episode where I was supposed to glean something and I didn't,
Yeah. And I still don't know what he was trying to tell her or herself was trying to tell herself, if that was a dream. I don't know. I don't care.
Just make the lightsaber scenes better. That's all I want.
Yeah.
You could have salvaged so much for me.
I was laughing so much, and I texted Sean. I was like, dude, just fucking get a stunt double for that. That was embarrassing.
It's so bad. And then Sean's son was up there, and the whole time he's like, this is mid, this is mid, this is mid. And
Mason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I watched it again on my own, and Mason's right.
It's mid.
I was like, did I not like it because Mason was shitting on it the whole time? And then I watched it again. I was like, no, it's fucking mid.
It's fucking mid. It was just mid.
Mid. 5 out of 10. We're using the 10-point scale, right? 5 out of 10.
Yeah, 5 out of 10. Sure.
Mm-hmm. I thought we were doing 5.
I gave it a 4 out of 10 earlier. So, it is disappointing because, again, my love for Star Wars apparently knows no bounds. Whatever they announce next, I'll be first in line, metaphorically,
right
for it. I'll be right there. I don't know what it'll take because, again, Boba Fett should have been when I was out. That was definitely the lowest point for me.
What if the next series was Boba Fett and the multicolored mopeds?
I'd watch it. I'd have to watch it to establish it. But yeah, I'd watch it. If that was what it was called, I would still watch it. Like, I'm that pathetic of Star Wars fan.
I just wanted to see
even if they told me up front, it could have been called like Boba Fett sucks, and I'd be like, yeah, I'll watch that. I'll watch it. It's got Boba Fett in the title. It can't be that bad, right?
The title is "I shit on all your favorite properties."
But again, so.
For me to
like I was saying earlier,
for me to
and like what Rob was saying earlier, with Star Wars, we have a wide universe with a huge timeline. There's no reason to keep adhering to this one era. And again, and then talking about like Ninja Turtles or just other properties in general where they just reboot all the time. I'd rather have that. That's one thing I liked about. You watch the first 3 Spider-Man movies, the Sam Raimi movies, and then they rebooted. They rebooted into a shitty Spider-Man, But guess what? They just rebooted again. So we're stuck basically with Last Jedi, Force Awakens, and Rise of Skywalker, though. Whereas Spider-Man has moved on, we can ignore the shitty Spider-Man movies because they're like, oh, those were shit. Oh, Batman, Robin, Batman Forever, those movies were shit. Let's reboot Batman. You know what I mean? Like, and I prefer that to this. You know, again, they keep painting themselves into a corner, and unlike really talented writers or writers who are given carte blanche, basically, instead of painting themselves into a corner and coming with creative ways to get out of it, they come out with really lazy ways to get out of it, where they're just like, we could just have a show where nothing happens.
Oh, bring the Emperor back. Yeah.
It's like the Seinfeld of Star Wars, except it's not funny. It's a show about nothing. Ahsoka, the show about nothing.
They really didn't do anything. Like,
they had no story to tell.
They switched places. That was it.
And that's the issue too with these mega proproperties now, with Disney owning them.
All that fuss about the map.
Oh my God, 4 episodes on this fucking map.
Dude, I was dead right about that.
All they did
I
was
dead right
places.
about it. Yeah. Like, I was dead right about that. I was like, they were showing me far too much map. Like, they clearly have nothing to talk about here because I'm seeing a way too much map here.
You know what's going to happen? Ezra is going to be like, well, I need to find Sabine and Ahsoka, so I'm going to have to find a map.
So the thing with,
He goes
with these
back to
properties,
get
though,
that's your next. That's your next show.
With Disney and these properties. So like when Iron Man came out, it was kind of like, and again, Disney didn't own Marvel yet, or maybe they did. I don't remember. But anyway, no, because they made Iron Man with Paramount, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that seemed to come together like, hey, let's take this character, and I think I have a good story to tell, and then we'll go from there, you know? And like, it seemed a little bit more organic, whereas now everything with MCU and Star Wars is, well, let's use these characters, but do we have a story to tell? Not really. Tell one anyway. You know what I mean? Do whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, again, Mandalorian, they had a story to tell. Even Andor. Like, I thought Andor was going to be lame. It turned out to be one of my favorite shows. They had a story to tell. And then the rest of the stuff, Obi-Wan, like, we don't even talk about Obi-Wan. It was so bad. They had no story to tell with Obi-Wan. They just had the name. They're like, let's do a story about Obi-Wan. Okay, let's bring in Princess Leia. Why? Why do you bring in Princess Leia? You know, like,
because we got to get the Skywalkers in here.
And then they have a whole thing where he fights Darth Vader again. And like, you didn't even need that. Again, that was just people. I was excited to see Darth Vader, but it almost was like, we know how this fight's going to end, because we know they both survived. They could have literally come up with, you know, at least in episode 1, George Lucas came up with Darth Maul. So we had a new guy, you know, like they could have done that for Obi-Wan. They could have just had a new guy for him to fight that was, you know, powerful with the Force. It didn't have to be fucking Darth Vader.
If you want to bring Darth Vader back, tell a Darth Vader story. That's all I'm saying. We don't need. There was no reason to bring. Yeah, it was cool, but just okay. So do your own cool stuff with just him. Tell a story that has nothing to do with everybody else. That has something to do with Darth Vader.
I would love to see a Darth Vader story that takes place
chokeholding everybody
before episode 4, in the Purge era, where they're purging the Jedi. Like you could do a fantastic movie about Darth Vader purging powerful Jedi, have wonderful battles, having him, you know, come up against forces that are, you know, stronger than him, and him having to overcome him to kill Jedi. Like, I think that would be fantastic.
Yes, let's see that.
Well, he didn't do his job because there's Jedi fucking everywhere.
No, Yoda said Luke was the last one.
Right?
I think he was right.
The last what? They're all over the goddamn universe.
They're everywhere. Jedi everywhere. Again, that's why they need to get away from this era, because they're polluting their own timeline by.
At the end of Ahsoka, we are all thinking, "Oh, here comes Kanan's Force Ghost." We're like, "Fucking Anakin again! God damn it!"
Right. It's all just so damn disappointing.
Dude, everybody is in love with these fucking prequels. Like,
I
what
don't get
fucking happened? Everybody, like, are we just? We're not wrong, right? Like, they're not as good, right?
I mean, dude, if you're looking at it objectively. Like, and I don't think it's hard to do. Even as much as of a Star Wars fan as I am, I'm a Star Wars fan because I liked the stories and the characters initially. I'm still riding on that. You know, I've been riding on that for years and years. But if you look at it from a storytelling perspective, yeah, like if if this was a show that wasn't about Jedi, if it was about a hero character, she's a sword fighter, and this was the story, you'd be like, what was the point of that shit? You know what I mean? But I feel like, again, you throw in the Anakin cameo or whatever, and people are just pissing themselves with glee because they saw Anakin again. I'm like, that's not enough, dude. That's not a story. That's not what Star Wars was. Star Wars was an original property at one time. There were no cameos because it was all new. You know what I mean? And we don't need to revisit those characters either. Like, you remember, I was very leery when they hinted that Luke Skywalker was going to be in Mandalorian. Like, when they had I was watching that episode, or maybe it was the episode before, where it was like, do you think it's gonna be Luke? And I'm like, no, it better not be fucking Luke. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Like, I was very upset. Like, I didn't want to see Luke again. Now, I think they handled it very well, and I did eat my words, and I'm happy about that. But then he popped up again in Boba Fett, and I'm like, okay, now you're going too far. We don't need to see Luke all the goddamn time. You could do other characters, you could do other stuff. We don't need the constant pop in.
Before we started this podcast, I was those people. Cameo, yay, everything is great. Now you motherfuckers got me looking at all kinds of shit, storylines, plots,
character development,
character settings. Like, fuck off, dude. I just want to fucking watch a movie and be happy again. Like, ignorance is bliss.
Sorry, not sorry.
So, like, a cameo that works, like, that's not forced, is like in Spider-Man when Captain America was in the video. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a kind of cameo that's like, that works. You know what I'm saying?
Well, even Mandalorian season 2, like I said, I think that worked out really well.
Yeah,
But I feel like then they started abusing it, and now Luke is just showing up everywhere, and it's just weird now. It was cool for one scene. It definitely, hit me right in the fucking heart. The nostalgia.
Oh, it was fucking awesome.
And I loved it. Yeah, and it was so well done.
Like, I was like, you don't need to bring Luke back, but if you're gonna do it, you did a great job. And then that's right. We don't need to see him.
And we don't need. And then
we didn't need to see him really
with him.
But
now the more you see him, the more you're like, please stop showing me Luke Skywalker. Like, that's how I feel anyway. Apparently, other people don't feel that way. They're very, same with Anakin. I've seen enough Anakin to last me 3 lifetimes. I don't care. Even when he was likable in the Clone Wars show, that was the best version of Anakin. But, I spent more time with the movies, so I get the shitty Anakin when I think of Anakin. That's just what I think of, the poorly written Anakin, who literally just flipped a switch.
I love you. No, I love you more. Rob said Captain America, and the family did watch Winter Soldier.
This last week.
Fuck. Well, the kids fell asleep, so they have to watch it again. But Krista and I finished it, and goddamn, that movie is so.
Is that not your best movie?
The Shield work. No, Avengers is still my favorite.
Oh, but we're gonna talk about the Shield there, buddy.
The Shield work was fantastic in that movie.
Yeah,
every way that he utilizes the Shield to fight.
No magnetic shit happening with that shield.
Fantastic.
I don't know.
Man.
Okay, I don't care about that. I don't know why you're hung up on that. I think he's talking more about the way he throws it and punches it, not so much how he gets it back to his wrist.
When he that elevator scene is fantastic. The way that the elevator's busted, so the cables are exposed, and he slices the cables with his shield, and then he has to jump out, lands on his shield, Then he still has to escape the Triskelion, and he takes down a fucking ship.
A VTOL.
What are they called? Well, I forget.
VTOL.
A VTOL. Okay, whatever. And he hits both
vertical takeoff and landing.
Yeah, he hits both the freaking wings in the back or whatever. It comes back
rotors
to him.
And everything.
He sticks one in the engine. I was like, oh my god, dude!
So and then he gets back on the motorcycle and just peels off out.
And
that is such a great scene.
That's just one of the great scenes that he uses the shield with. The opening scene on the ship is fantastic. He's using that.
Dude, he's so efficient
running
in that
through
opening
walls.
scene.
Drywall.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
When he just knocks the one guy off the boat, just stuff like that. He's not everything has to be a big fight scene. He's just using that so efficiently.
The opening scene when he's running on the boat, it's just he's running and just taking out people, dude, in full.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Catch up, Rob.
then there's a scene with Bucky in the street, which is dude.
Yeah.
The way
Cleveland.
Yeah, in Cleveland. I was telling Kristen that the kids have fallen asleep, but I was like, this is all Cleveland. We were just there. But anyway, the way he like stuns Bucky and then comes up under his arm and hits him in the chin with the shield. I was like, God damn, man, give me more of this.
And that's
like,
just the fight scenes. The story is fantastic.
Yeah, and the story is great too, you know?
The fight scene, dude, as good as that shield work was, I don't know if it matches the 1990 shield work. The shield work in the 1990 movie was pretty amazing.
You mean the one where he carried it around in a bag the whole time? That one? Yeah, that was awesome.
He tossed it like a frisbee. He would just like be like, there we go.
Yeah.
And it would just like land gently.
and then you fast forward to Chris Evans, and he's like going
whipping
all the way back, dude. He's pulling himself all the way back to get the most force and momentum he can. Oh, yeah, dude, it's so freaking good, man. So good.
So good.
And I'm excited because the kids fell asleep, so they got to watch it again this week. So I'm super excited about that. But man, I mean, like, dude, why can't you have fucking fight scenes like that in Ahsoka? You know, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah. I don't
know. A lightsaber. It's the coolest fucking weapon ever. And you fucking dribble out that slow ass bullshit.
They did all that with a round fucking disc, dude.
Right.
With an oversized frisbee.
And they can't fucking make a lightsaber fucking scene work. Jesus
it was ridiculous, dude. It was so TV. Like, I'm with Sean. Yes. I'm with Sean. Stop making fucking TV. Just make these things movies, you know? I'm done. I'll wait 2 years. I don't care.
Right.
Well, we're already waiting 2 years in between these freaking TV shows. So, might as well get a movie out of it if you got to wait that long anyway. Because I forget.
And make some money. I still don't understand how these shows even make money. Like, I understand at first Mandalorian was a big draw, but at this point, everybody knows what Disney Plus is. I don't know that Ahsoka's pulling in a lot of brand new subscribers, you know, every time they drop, you know, an episode or a series like Ahsoka or Andor, even the good series. But
that's what they're figuring out.
Just make a movie, make some money.
You can't
get us back in theaters.
You can't have.
I know we bring this up all the time, but like, they made good shit, you know, like Andor was great. Yeah. Mandalorian was great. Why do you if the bar is here, why are we dipping down way down below that bar? I don't understand.
And writing is hard. Like, I'm not, you know, like, Steve, I let Steve read some of my shit. Tell Rob what you thought of my shit.
Yeah, I loved it. He let me read a snippet from it, and dude, I'm really impressed. Like, Sean is a really good writer. I think it was the introduction of the two characters.
It wasn't their introduction. It was more. Or wait, it wasn't.
It was their first time meeting.
Yeah.
And the interaction between those two was very down to earth, very relatable. The humor was, you know, like, we have the same humor. So I chuckled at least 3 or 4 times just reading that snippet. But it was fantastic, man. I can't wait to see a finished project.
That's for Rob. He's my naysayer. Rob doesn't think I can write.
What the fuck, dude? I have never said that.
Did Rob shit
I have
on it?
never said that.
He's like, try harder, you piece of shit.
Never said that.
It's like, yeah, sure you can
Jesus
write.
Christ.
But no, writing isn't easy, but also
I couldn't do it.
When you're that, when you are a professional writer, when you have more than one writer and you have a budget, to me, there's just no excuse to churn out a lot of the stuff they've been churning out. Now, granted, I have the time because I don't have a deadline. I don't have anybody breathing down my neck for the next episode or whatever. So that does have an impact. But again, when you have a writer's room, it's just, I don't understand how this stuff is getting through. I don't understand why people are just going like, yeah, that sounds great.
All I got to say is, how the hell did Secret Invasion get released?
Right. Like, they spent $200 million or something on that show. Yeah. Like, some insane amount of money.
Right.
Like, literally, that's a huge budget for that could have been a movie. I'm not saying Secret Invasion itself. I'm saying they could have made any movie. They could have made a Star Wars movie for that budget. They could have made a Marvel movie for that budget. And instead, we got this weird ass show that was incredibly boring.
We're talking about Ahsoka. That was really bad. I mean, at least,
right.
ugh.
Yeah,
I love
that one was really
Samuel L.
bad.
Jackson, but he couldn't carry that shit. It was horrible.
No.
And I like Khaleesi. It's not like they.
And
man,
that's the thing. To me, it all starts in the writing room. It starts with the writing. You can't overcome bad writing, no matter how good your actors are, no matter how great your director is. If they're going by a mediocre or a shitty script, then there's nothing you can do about it. If it's not a story worth telling, if it's not a well-told story, you can't get past that.
Yeah, but it all starts there. Everybody is in awe of Dave Filoni as well as myself, and like you, I respect the dude as much as you do, but if they're gonna like keep blowing smoke up his ass, it's not, this next thing's not going to be any better as long as if he doesn't get some kind of criticism, because the internet is loving this shit. So why would he fucking change anything?
Exactly. It got good viewers. It got good reviews.
I'm just curious how much, if this is what he wanted to put out there. I really want to know, but we'll never know.
Well, this is not, I've done no research as far as this goes. These are all just assumptions on my part, but this show, what it feels like, that's the best way I can describe it. What it feels like to me is Kathleen Kennedy or whoever, the higher ups, were like, we need another Disney show that Ahsoka character is popular. Hey, Dave, you're the Ahsoka guy. Will you do, it doesn't feel like he went to them and was like, I have this amazing Ahsoka story. Check this out. We need to tell this story. It feels more like, hey, let's do this. And he was like, well, I don't want anybody else doing it. And again, then you have the parameters too. Like, we don't know what the future of Star Wars is. We do know there's a movie on the horizon in the Filoni verse.
Allegedly.
And so basically we get like the whole thing. We get an entire series that's just filler because they're trying to build up to a movie. This was all literally set up. So now they have to go get Ahsoka and Sabine, I guess. And is that the setup? Or is that just the setup for season 2 of Ahsoka?
Right. Like,
why should I care? Like, Ahsoka's had so little impact on the Star Wars universe now, since her, Clone Wars and Rebels days. It's like, I don't care if she comes back. I genuinely don't care. Mm-hmm. And they even made Ezra coming back feel anticlimactic. Like the way he's just like casually leaning on the hut or whatever. He's like, hey, what's going on? Like, dude, you haven't seen anybody in years. You've been stuck in another galaxy. And he's like, let me pose real quick. Let me lean. I got to get a cool lean here. You think he just, dude, if he had come running up like, oh my God, like that would have been much more believable. Holy shit, fucking, not only is there someone here, but I know you and you're not here to kill me. This is amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's a much more believable reaction.
You fucking found me.
Right. And you found me somehow.
Yeah. That's
like that. Instead, he's like, "Oh, I got to be cool about this."
Took me
now, and again, I did like Ezra, but I was just like, "What is that?"
Took you long enough,
dude. It would have been like if in Castaway somebody shows up to rescue Tom Hanks, and he's just like,
"Hey,
oh hey," he's sitting there with like his beard down to his knees, naked, covered in dirt, and he's just like, "Oh, what's up?" You know what I mean? Like, no, that's not how you're gonna react. You're not just gonna be cool about it. You're like, "Oh my fucking God! Oh my fucking God!"
He's like, "Hold on, let me stop fucking Wilson. I'll be right with you." That was the perfect fucking sound. You do that really well. Have you fucked a volleyball before?
No comment. But
that was great. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just fucking tired. Like, I know you can do better because I've seen better, and
right. We've seen better from the same people.
Dave Filoni, I thought we get a lot better. And every time I'm on the internet, they're always showing me how this ties into this and this ties into this. And I'm like,
right.
Yeah, but the story fucking sucked. So I don't give a shit.
That's what people get excited. Dude, that's what you said. Just nailed it though. Is people are like, oh, but they showed this. You could see the O-ring from the lightsaber in this episode of Rebels on the wall in the back. I was like, who cares? Yes, you're going to see Star Wars shit in Star Wars shit. Can I get a story to go with it, please?
Yes.
It's like being excited because your fries came in a red box that has a yellow fucking M on it. Like, oh my God, McDonald's put their fries in a McDonald's box. Can you fucking believe it? Like, yeah, you're going to see Star Wars shit in your Star Wars shit.
Yeah. And I used to be those people. So there is hope, you know? Yeah.
I remember when everybody got excited in The Mandalorian when he shows up with, or he's presented with that, what they call a Camtono of the Beskar. And the Camtono was something you saw briefly in Empire Strikes Back, and it was a repurposed ice cream machine. And like when they were evacuating the city, somebody was carrying this thing, right? Something I never actually noticed. The internet is ablaze the next day because the Mandalorian gets presented with it basically just looks like a bucket and full with Beskar in it. And everybody's like, oh my God, this was in Empire Strikes Back. It's like, who cares? That's exciting to you? Why would that be exciting that they're reusing assets?
Dude.
Of course they're reusing assets.
I'll tell you why. Because they have no life and they sit there and fucking look at that shit all day and they're like, that gave my life meaning right there.
Oh,
it was,
I just want to see the stories.
All for naught.
I'm here for the stories, the characters, and the action and the cool fight scenes. That's what I'm not here because, oh, that piece of equipment that they put on his ship was in A New Hope when they tried to stop the compactor from closing in or whatever. I don't care. I don't fucking care.
I do remember hearing about that.
Yeah, I'm just like that's not exciting to me. I don't understand why that's exciting. You're gonna see Star Wars shit in your Star Wars shit. Now, if a fucking Captain America shield shows up, I'm gonna be like, wait, what? What now? What's happening? I don't want that. I'm not. Please, no crossover.
Yeah.
But my point is, I'd be more excited to find out. Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Why is that there? That makes no sense. Well, when you see
some cameos. Yeah, some cameos were cool. Like when you see the Darksaber in fucking Mandalorian.
Yes, you're like, something of significance.
Right, exactly.
Pops up again, and you're like, oh shit, that's badass. That's a badass weapon. That means something.
Yes.
But yeah, seeing a Camtono is not exciting. Seeing a bucket of credits, I don't know why that's exciting. I don't. It doesn't hit me in the feels. I never, as a kid, I was never like, you know what they really need in this action figure line is that little bucket that random character was carrying in the background of the scene in Empire Strikes Back. Like, no, that's not like, dude. And everybody, I should say this: people are allowed to enjoy things in their own way. There's nothing wrong with that, but that doesn't make something good to just see a reused asset. Doesn't add value.
I just want a good story, man.
Characters I like.
Rob's like asleep.
Look, man, we've been going for over 2 hours.
What are you worried?
We had a pre-warm-up of you eating a chicken sandwich for 45 minutes.
Original chicken sandwich. I don't eat for 45 minutes. Ask Steve. Steve was very impressed with my eating speed.
Well, it took 10 minutes to get to you.
Impressed? Yeah. I was fucking horrified and shocked. There's no impressed. It like, dude, we went out to breakfast.
You didn't chew your food there, dude, guy.
I do chew my food.
Before I buttered my toast, he had a whole meal down. I was like, what the fuck just happened? How do you do that? That's why you shit all the time, because it's like a fucking brick that just went right through you. Didn't even have time to fucking digest.
I did shit out a whole ham steak later. I almost got a spit take. Almost got the spit take.
That was over Kristen's computer. She would have been pissed.
Yeah. No, and I don't try to eat fast. And it wasn't until you that I knew I ate fast either. I think I told you that story when we were out at Red Lobster 100 years ago.
Yeah, I remember.
I ate an entire steak in front of you, and you were just like, how did you eat a steak that fast?
I don't remember being that fast. I'm not even joking, dude. I was buttering my fucking toast. I took a bite, and he's fucking done. And it wasn't like he had one piece of French toast. He had 2 eggs, sausage, fucking grits, or whatever the fuck you ordered. I don't know.
I had a whole meal, but I'm just efficient. It's just, I don't know. Mealtime is efficient. And I have made conscious efforts to address it, but that's just how I do things. Try to be efficient.
It's not your body's not saying that's efficient. Your body's like, please stop.
All right. Well, so we should wrap it up though. I got a comic picked out. It is it's on my Comixology. It is called Hard Boiled.
Oh,
and
I've seen that movie.
Oh, but this is not that movie.
Oh.
This is not has nothing to do with the John Woo property.
Oh.
This is a comic by Frank Miller and Jeff Darrow. Jeff Darrow, you may know, who worked very closely with the Wachowskis on the Matrix movies.
Yes.
As the storyboard artist and conceptual artist.
Yeah, his art's really
it's
detailed.
incredibly intricate and detailed. I zoom in on his stuff. There's so much detail going on. It's mind blowing looking at his art. But yeah, it's called Hard Boiled. I think it's only like 4 issues, and it's on my Comixology. So yeah, check that out. It is not the John Woo. You know, it's funny that you say that though, because I have in my app I have a list of potential movies and or shows, and I have a list of comics, and they're separated from each other. And I was going through the comics list, and I saw Hard Boiled, and I was like, that's a fucking movie for a second. And I was like, oh, wait, no, there is a comic. I did put that here for the correct reason. But yeah, right I did think that. So yeah, we will be back probably next week. We did take that hiatus because vacations and whatnot. Unfortunately for you, we are back.
We lost half our listeners probably. One of our listeners, Jeff, posted something about Lobo. Is
Jason
did you
Momoa
see that?
Might sign.
Is that true?
It was in a Variety article. I did click on it.
Oh,
I did go to
that's
the Variety
legit.
article. It's still all rumor. It's all kind of hearsay still. Nothing has been officially announced, so take it with a grain of salt. But I did go back. I went on Twitter, and yes, I'm still calling it Twitter. I'm not calling it X because that's fucking asinine. But I went on Twitter. I found an old tweet of mine from April of 2022 where I purposely tried to start a rumor that James Gunn was working on a Lobo movie with Jason Momoa. This was before the announcement that James Gunn was going to be overseeing DC. So if this becomes true, I started a new rumor today. I put it on Threads though, because I hate Twitter because it's so stupid now. But over on Threads, I started a new rumor that Peter Jackson is making a Masters of the Universe movie, and they have cast Zac Efron as He-Man and John Cena as Ram-Man so far. So look forward to that. Please spread that around. Maybe we can manifest that the same way we're manifesting the Jason Momoa, Lobo, James Gunn thing.
All right.
I would love to see. And then, dude, here's the crazy part, and I am not making this up. I picked Zac Efron for He-Man because he's always been real fit, and he's good. He's a pretty boy. So then I go on YouTube, like 20 minutes later, in my first suggested video is for a new movie, and I can't remember the name of it, like the Iron something. I don't remember what it is. But anyway, the trailer had just gone up. I click on it to watch it. Zac Efron is in it, and I swear I am not making this up. He's super jacked now, and he had He-Man's haircut in this movie. You've got to see it. I'll send it to you. Nice. It's insane. I was like, holy shit, this could happen, because he looks just like He-Man now. It's fucking nuts.
All right, listeners, let's get this going.
And then I was thinking, I got that new Ram Man figure coming, and I was thinking about how like Ram Man is just like huge, and I was like, John Cena would be perfect for Ram Man because
he's short though.
He's just huge.
Any kind of
in the cartoon, he is short. There are different iterations. The cartoon, the original figure line, but in other figure lines,
hey Rob, that's why he wanted Peter Jackson to do it, because he did such a good job with the dwarves
and Lord of the Rings, but. Like in the original comic appearance, he's just as tall as He-Man. He's not a dwarf. So there's different iterations. But yes, from the cartoon and the original figure line, he's quite short. But the figure that I've come in, he's just as tall as He-Man. So it could go either way. But I think John Cena would be absolutely perfect because he's got that build. Like he's built like a brick shithouse, So, and that's John Cena. And please not The Rock. Jesus Christ, please not The Rock.
It's going to be The Rock.
Please not The Rock.
I
Dear
started
Lord,
a
sweet.
rumor on X that says The Rock is going to play Ram-Man.
I'm not worried about that. You don't even know what X is.
What?
So
it's the letter in the alphabet.
That's right. All right. But yeah, let's wrap it up. Hard boiled next week. Thanks for listening.
Peace.
Tug.